Orange Lounge Radio. With your hosts, Dark Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
This week, Sony brought us the re-release of Final Fantasy VII in glorious HD quality, upscaled and ported. Thanks, but that's not all. We'll have more from the award show, plenty more news, your comments and calls right now in the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, live on this December the 7th of 2014 with the 578th episode of our show. My name is Rob Roberts, joining you over the next few hours to talk about all things video games, gaming culture, the gamer lifestyle, and food with my co-host. Say hello to Dark Sakura.
I haven't had any food today.
Not yet. Oh my gosh. How are you going to go for 3 hours without food?
We're going to get food before we... No. Dan, go get me food.
Say it's not going to be pretty. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. If you're talking to Dan, that must mean Dan the man is here in the house today joining us.
I got to go get food.
Dan will be leaving, actually. So, Dan, any final thoughts for us?
No.
How are you doing, Dan?
Good.
Good, yeah?
I
Awesome.
can hear a feedback click every time I turn the mic
Yeah,
on.
you don't have to turn the mic on and off. Don't worry about it. I do it over here. If I have to mute you, I just push the little button over here and it shuts Dan
You
down.
can't silence me.
Which will be all
I'll
the
yell so
time.
loud the internets can hear me. On Jamie's mic.
All right. Also, I have to introduce, of course, every week here with us, Techmaster Loki.
Hello.
How you doing, Loki?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good morning. Or afternoon. So, yeah, if you guys aren't aware, we're taping at a special time today, or broadcasting, whatever you want to say. We are live at noon on Sundays. We've been saying for the past couple weeks we were going to do. We're live at noon today. This will rebroadcast at the normal time at VOG Network, 6 o'clock. So if you're listening at 6 o'clock, wondering why the chat room seems emptier than usual, it's because, oops, you forgot we were going to do the earlier time today. But we're rebroadcasting. And then, of course, our podcast listeners all get the same thing that they're used to, the show delivered on the podcast feed for you guys. But we do still have the chat over at live.vognetwork.com. And folks chatting away. Some folks in chat talking about tea. Dungeon Buster saying time for tea and crumpets. I guess because of the earlier hour. It's noon tea here. Or in Loki's case, noon sandwiches. Because the sandwich place you'd love to go to was actually open today. Oh, not tea, Red Bull. I see. Of course. This is Loki we're talking about here.
Who's calling me on my phone?
Who'd be calling you? Don't they know you have a show?
No, they don't.
All right. That is a loud, loud ringer. For sure. All right. Anyway, the joys of doing live radio. Phones going off. People showing up. It's all good. You guys showing up in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com.
I don't have the chat room yet.
You don't have the chat room yet.
Because I just got this a few days ago.
Yeah, you have a new toy that you brought to the studio with you.
I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Yeah?
Because I go for the superior machinery.
Is that one with the pretty retina and all that stuff?
It's retina.
Nice. I bet pornography looks beautiful on that thing.
Twat and 2000 DPI. No, I don't know.
Awesome. Well, how did you christen it? Like, what was the first thing you had to do on it?
The first thing I had to do was set up the internet.
Yeah.
Really, that was about it. I had to do a system update, which was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make sure that all the stuff that I normally see going on with Yosemite wasn't happening.
Right.
And I have a perfect computer.
Yeah.
I have named her Edie.
Have you done any gaming on it? Oh, wait,
Yes, I
gaming on a Mac.
Did you not see the post I made on my Facebook?
I'm just giving you crap.
No,
Calm down.
I have both Fractal and Transistor.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So playing through those.
Yeah. And there's more and more stuff, to be fair. There's more and more stuff, especially, I think, thanks to Steam in large part, kind of putting things out there on Linux and Mac. There's more and more and more stuff showing up.
A lot of the stuff on the Steam store, by the way, is available through the App Store.
Okay.
That's where I got Transistor and Fractal.
Nice.
Borderlands is on there. All the Borderlands games. BioShock.
If you beat something on Steam PC, or sorry, not beat something. If you bought something on Steam PC, don't you automatically get it on Steam Max? Like if you log into your library, you'd be able to download whatever? Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
I was going to say, but
Nice
if you
and
buy it
portable.
on the Mac store, you don't get the trading cards.
They don't have trading cards on Macs?
No, not
if I buy
like
through
if
the
you buy
App
in the
Stores
App
instead of
Store.
Steam.
Oh,
Yeah,
Got it.
No,
Got
not on no Mac on Steam has trading cards.
And you don't get achievements, Steam achievements, or whatever they call it over there. It's achievements.
I get smug superiority.
And that's very important. Speaking of smug superiority, let's talk about this for our kickoff topic. This was a really crazy, busy week, considering that usually this time of year is very, very dead because all the games have already been released. A lot of game developers are not even really working during this period because their games are out. And so, this is the time of year where they actually get their time off before they're putting in their 10 and 12-hour days again to ship whatever game is coming in 2015. So usually things are awfully quiet. But we've had an insanely busy week in news. Like, it's almost been like a winter E3, and that's in large part to the Game Awards happening this week, and of course Sony's PlayStation Experience.
Which the PlayStation Experience seemed like it was more of like a they had actual presentations versus just like, oh, here's some Sony games.
Yeah, they're doing like panels and things like that too. Like, they are really turning it into their own, like, I don't want to say like their own penny arcade expo, but in a way it's kind of what they're doing. I mean, it's probably a little smaller right now, but it's the first year. But we'll talk more about the PlayStation Experience a little later. Obviously, there's these very two distinct events going on. But I want to talk first about the Game Awards because it is the thing that happened first on Friday night. I don't know how many of you guys actually watched or maybe watched on the back end or whatever.
I forgot that it was on that day, so I had to go back. And all I did was kind of skim through YouTube and went and watched all the trailers and then skimmed through it some more trailers and then caught up to live, and that was it.
Well, you guys know, if you listened to the show a few weeks ago, I was really skeptical about the Game Awards, especially how fast they were trying to put the whole thing together. I was like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of time here. But I actually did end up watching most of it. I watched it was kind of long. It was a 3-hour show, and I watched the first 2 hours, and then Alan needed me for something else, so I stopped. And I missed the best part, so I had to go back and watch it on YouTube. The last hour, like bits, I kind of did what you guys, skimmed through the last hour to watch all like the Zelda Wii U gameplay, which was huge. Yeah, I gotta say, Zelda on Wii U, which they showed at the Game Awards, that does look really hot. It was very interesting the way they presented it, though, because they filmed Miyamoto playing on a television, but they never showed a direct feed of the TV. It was always showing what was on the TV. And I'm not sure why they chose to do it that way. Perhaps that was to prevent such a scrutiny eye to pick out the little things in the interface. I don't know. I'm not sure what they were trying to do with that. But yeah, they were showing it all off at the little TV instead of a direct feed. But still, I mean, however they decided to show it, it looked great. Dan, did you get a chance to see this footage yet of the Zelda Wii U?
I have not.
Oh, you got to check it out at some point. It looks gorgeous. I mean, you can definitely see where maybe the Skyrim, because we've heard this before, that they're being influenced by Skyrim a little bit, and you can kind of see that even in the little bit that they showed with the gigantic world map, being able to place a marker where you want to go, get on your horse and ride to the marker and, kind of kill things along the way. They're doing a lot of that in this new Zelda game, and it looks interesting. It looks like it's going to be really rad.
I've been playing something very similar to that called Dragon Age.
Freeform questing in Zelda.
Maybe. They didn't say anything about...
For the first time since, Zelda 1?
Well, they didn't say anything specifically about how questing would work, so we can only infer that. We don't know that for sure, but I would think there would at least have to be side quests. You would think. But I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot to be determined. That wasn't really what they were talking about with the reveal. But anyway, even Nintendo really did kind of dominate the Game Awards. I mean, there was some Sony and even Microsoft presence as well, but Nintendo took a lot of the awards. Game of the Year, though, they didn't. They did not get Bayonetta 2, which a lot of people had expected. Dragon Age won Game of the Year, which I get that, having played most of those nominees.
Game of the last couple weeks. You know what I mean? So.
Well, here's the thing, and a lot of people are complaining, like, how could you give Dragon Age Game of the Year when it's only been out 2 weeks? But you guys are forgetting these critics have been playing them, all those people that were on the jury.
Whatever, the sponsor paid the most.
Well...
We thought
I wonder about that too.
I mean, really, it's like, it's been out for 13 seconds. It's Game of the Year.
Yeah, and
although admittedly, it is a pretty hot-looking game. I haven't played it, but I've watched it over Jamie's shoulder a lot, and I've been like, damn.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people complaining on Twitter, and I was just kind of like, Bayonetta 2 is a great game, don't get me wrong, and if it had won, I couldn't have been upset. But I feel like the people criticizing Dragon Age for winning haven't really played it, so whatevs. But I mean, I can also see an argument that Bayonetta 2 is a better game. That's fine, but I just don't think there would be such anger if you've actually played Dragon Age and you kind of go, oh, this game is really, really has a lot of depth to it and extremely well done storytelling.
But the 16 people who are playing Bayonetta 2 realize how great it is.
I hope it sold better than that. I really do. They deserve it. They deserve a great success.
Platinum is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they make great games, but
and you can't feel
going single platform on Bayonetta was probably not the best call.
I have a hard time feeling bad for Nintendo when Nintendo did win Developer of the Year. They got Sports Game of the Year for Mario Kart 8.
Because that's really a sports game.
Well, it's considered sports and racing.
Best sports/racing game.
Okay, whatever. But anyway, they did pretty well for themselves. So they got Best Fighting Game for Smash Brothers on Wii U as well, right? So, I mean, they did pretty well.
But there weren't that many fighting games out this year. And they were nominated twice for Smash Brothers. They had 2 spots, Smash Brothers 3DS and Smash Brothers Wii U. Come on.
Ooh.
I kind of think the awards themselves are sort of, I don't want to say meaningless, but I think
No. Meaningless is probably an accurate term.
I think the community and Twitter and so forth is making it to be a much bigger deal than it really is. I mean, it's a group of 20 people who voted on what they believe the best game of the year is. And there's such diversity in the gaming world that I would not want to listen to just what one person or even one group of 20 people feel is the best game.
It sounds kind of weird for me to ask this since I've had the exposure to your guys' program that I've had over like the last 100,000 years.
Sure.
But do you guys do like a game of the year, like Orange Lounge Awards, anything like that? Because the truth is, the things that you guys called Game of the Year would be just as meaningful as whatever they called Game of the Year.
That is the point exactly. I think the Game of the Year that any 20 people grouped together would call Game of the Year is just as meaningful as what these guys end up picking as Game of the Year. That is exactly the point. Usually the last show of the year will kind of try to do like a, what was your top 3 sort of thing. And, it can kind of vary from year to year because also, we are not paid to do this full time, nor is most podcasters you're listening to their show unless it's tied into a major website.
We're not paid to do this anytime.
So most of the people that are talking about their game of the year haven't played everything that have come out in that year. And I always kind of put that disclaimer out there as like, this is my personal game of the year from what I've played. And there's also some years where I don't get around to the games of 2013 till 2014.
Well, and it used to be like, think of it this way, right? So it used to be that there were, a dozen video game magazines that had some sort of relevance. You had your EGMs, your Game Pros, your video games, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And you had several editors, and they would all do games of the year. And, you could actually at that point have probably had a consensus of industry professionals who could probably put together a fairly meaningful game of the year. Instead, each magazine would just do their own. So now, what was it? Spike TV, was that 10 years ago they started doing their Game of the Year awards or the Spike TV Video Awards?
Yeah.
But that's all just so super commercial that that it's just sponsorship money talking, baby.
And as much as I'm kind of saying some what could be construed as negative things about this award ceremony, I actually thought it wasn't as bad as we all feared it was going to be. It was fairly decent. Sure, there were a lot of things that could have been done better, but for as rushed as that whole thing had to have been, I thought it was pretty decent. And a lot of that, Dan, is because that commercialism, a lot of that was really sucked out of it. You didn't really have the actors that were forced out there on stage and pretty men and pretty ladies who probably played Candy Crush Saga and that's it. You had a lot of people up there on the stage that were actually like game developers and game players. I think one moment that kind of put a bow on all that was when Trey Parker won the award for Best Voice Acting or whatever they called it. He won the award for Best Voice Acting for all those voices he did in the South Park game, right? So he got up there on the stage and he said, only at the Video Game Awards could I beat Kevin Spacey for an acting award. And he raised the trophy and walked off the stage. Kevin Spacey wasn't even there. So I thought that was kind of one of the moments to sort of sum the whole thing up. So I thought from that standpoint they did really well. But I'm going to tell you my favorite thing, the thing I loved most of all, the thing that, oh my God, I would have watched 3 hours of nothing but this, and they need to do it again next year. kudos to whoever got Ken and Roberta Williams to come out of hiding and take the stage at the Video Game Awards to accept their award for Gaming Icon. That was awesome. And if you don't know who Ken and Roberta Williams are, you really need to go back and do some gaming history research, because pretty much every amazing 80s and 90s point-and-click adventure game that came from Sierra Online Entertainment or even other companies was inspired by something that Ken and Roberta Williams did. And they left the game industry in the late 90s. I think Phantasmagoria was the last game that Roberta Williams was really intimately involved with. She might have produced one of the later King's Quest games, but Phantasmagoria was kind of the last one. And things in the industry started to shift. We had a phase where we were getting away from adventure games, and so they kind of left the industry at that time because, you know, people weren't really playing those kinds of games anymore. And they have really disappeared from the public eye, and they rarely make public appearances. I think they've been spotted once or twice in the past decade. And so to see them come out on stage, and the audience really, I'm so happy that the audience was cheering and screaming and we love you and all that stuff, and not like, who dis? Thank you, video game audience, for knowing it's so important who Ken and Roberta Williams were, and making them feel welcome, because I kind of hope it might convince them to try something else. I don't know, but if they want to retire forever, they certainly deserve it. They've done so much for the industry. So that was seriously my favorite part. I know that seems so like one little thing, but that gave the whole thing so much more cred, in my opinion, to see that. I was very, very, very happy with that.
Did their company get bought and disassembled by EA or Activision?
I believe it was Universal, then Vivendi, then Activision.
Okay.
So it's kind
of like a 3-level disassemble there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was the Universal acquisition that didn't, because kind of what King's Quest VIII turned into. Yeah. But looking at the footage from the new King's Quest game, that kind of surprised me, because the new King's Quest does not appear to be a point-and-click adventure at all. It appears to be something a little more like, I don't want to say like Dragon's Lair, but it's definitely more like, I get that more like cartoony 3D adventure sort of gist from it. It looks really good, and to hear Roberta Williams go, I want to play this, I've seen it and I want to play it, that alone makes me go, all right, I'm going to listen to you, because you know what you're talking about.
She's like, and there's 2 L's in Williams on the check.
Yeah, right. Right. Dungeon Buster says in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, Dungeon Buster says, seeing Ken and Roberta Williams on stage was my favorite moment from the award show. ActDev says Activision, probably, considering the King's Quest reimagining. Oh, yeah, that was, getting them out there to unveil the trailer was certainly a huge part of it. Dungeon Buster says they're so incredibly private after they left that all anyone has really seen from them is the occasional text blurb or short form interview. Alan Alchemy says their presence gave so much more legitimacy to the show over anything Spike did. Without sounding like a fanboy, although I guess if I'm going to fanboy for anything, it's going to be Ken and Roberta Williams.
It's always a good idea to pander to the 40-year-old audience.
Well, that's why I said, thank God the audience did know who they were and was cheering and made them feel the love. Because if you enjoy The Walking Dead, which was the game of the year a couple years ago, right? A lot of what you see in that game, you can thank Ken and Roberta Williams for. Let's be real.
It's like every adventure game owes its origins to either Ultima or King's Quest.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Everyone, yeah.
So, if people don't understand who they are, it's understandable, because they've stepped out of the limelight. They don't make games. The truth is, game creators are fairly underappreciated. Mm-hmm. And when they do become rock stars,
especially in that age.
Right. When they do become the rock stars of game creation, then they normally get a little too full of themselves, and they try to make a daikatana, and it kills them.
Yeah.
So,
But happens. Yeah, speaking of King's Quest or Ultima, next year, if they want to get Lord British on stage, just let him talk for 3 hours, because Lord knows the man could do it. I would be totally fine with that as well.
Yeah, because, you just want to hear Garriott talk about how fucking great he is, and that he's an astronaut.
I went to his panel at Dragon Con and listened to him talk about his fucking mansion for like an hour, and it was worth every minute of my time. It was worth every minute of my time.
Garriott is
man's
like,
a fucking genius.
I'm the best motherfucker that's ever lived.
Yeah, and yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Did you ever see the documentary that he did talking about his mansion, like
Lord
just like
British.
Showing all the like secret passages and stuff?
No, I did. I need to.
You need to watch that.
Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
I do. No,
it's called Lord British. I'm so great.
All right. So anyway,
although Although
he
is responsible for that really shitty Facebook game that I had to play.
I get over it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not getting over it. Listen, you're better than this. You don't need to have a garage sale game on Facebook.
And Tabula Rasa, I understand. But look, the man's allowed a few stinkers in, his decades-long great career. Anyway, he
made a terrible RPG when he was a teenager when nobody else was making terrible RPGs. Give him some slack.
As much as I'd love to just talk about people I love from 80s and 90s computer game development, I do want to get back into some of the other stuff. I just want to mention one other thing that I thought was really weird about the award show. Okay, so it was a video game award show, obviously, although there was lots of trailers. I mean, it was really 3/4 trailers, a new game presentation, like a quarter awards. So one thing that was really awkward is that, Jeff Keighley would be talking to somebody like Reggie Fils-Aimé, and he'd be like, so tell us about what Nintendo's doing, da-da-da, and then he'd be all, and by the way, congratulations, because you won Developer of the Year. Here's your trophy. Like, it was very much like, I purposely brought you over here to kill two birds with one stone and get you to pimp something and then hand you a statue. Like, that happened a lot throughout the whole awards presentation. That was kind of weird, but at the same time, the freaking thing was 3 hours long and kind of needed to be cut back. So they needed to cut some corners. So I'm not sure where that happy balance is. I actually think they might have done, and this is going to sound really weird, they might have done too many world premieres. And I think they really should have focused on the stuff that was really new. Things like the Tacoma trailer, things that we hadn't seen before.
I like a third trailer for No Man's Sky, and yes, I understand it's the same thing every time.
No Man's Sky.
No,
I have had it officially.
No,
isn't that the game where you can fly to space?
Okay, here's the problem with No Man's Sky that I'm seeing right here, and I'm going to tell you, here's my worry about this game. I think it's going to be fucking boring. Because it looks really amazing that you can visit all these planets and stuff, and there's somewhat different things on there. I think I'm going to get so bored so fast with that game. And that's what I'm worried about. It's like they haven't really shown what you do other than exploring new things.
It's okay. I was bitching about that on Twitter. And of course, Bobby jumped in and said, well, Rob, look at this YouTube. It's all right here. And he linked me this YouTube. And sure enough, there was a 14-minute, GameSpot had done a preview or something where they actually showed some of the gameplay and the fact that, yes, those ships do shoot things. And you can, explore the planets and so all this stuff. So there is a game in there. But these trailers we keep seeing don't really show any of that.
I still want to buy it, but I just think I'm going to get bored with it really fast.
Seriously, when I saw it again at the PlayStation Experience, I was like, all right, this is now past bordering on pretentious. Like, I understand I'm probably pissing people off with what I'm saying because some people are very excited for that game, and I understand, it's more of an indie company and all this stuff, but I'm just like, you guys, at these big awards shows, they have shown the same thing 3 times. So I really need to see
essentially the same trailer, just different planets each time. And yeah, that's cool.
Here's my example. Here's my example and why I'm concerned. Because there was another game almost 10 years ago at this point that was very big on this whole, we're going to go from the smallest of micronisms to getting bigger and bigger, and then it's going to be a civilization, and you take over the world and all this stuff. Yeah. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Spore. Remember? And there was a lot of good ideas in Spore as well, but ultimately the game felt like a collection of mini games. So if you want to know why I'm sitting here giving No Man's Sky a hard time for doing the same thing over and over, it's because I've played Spore and I feel like I've kind of been here before. So I just want to see a little more about how do those littler parts make the big thing function? Because that's a very important part of the game, if that makes sense. I would love nothing more than for this game to come out and blow my fucking mind and be like, I really shouldn't have given this game such a hard time on all those trailers because this game is fucking amazing. I would love nothing more than for that to happen. But right now, since I haven't played it, I can't really say that yet. All I can say is, okay, I've seen the same, it's been the same joke 3 times. It's like an episode of this show. Come on. So, there you go. That's my thoughts on No Man's Sky. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Dungeon Buster says, I'm excited for it, but I understand where Sky is coming from. Ravens Dolphin says, that concert was something. Just show the game. Static 68 is cool, but show off the game. It's just colorful and whatever. Let's see. Tiger Claw says, No Man's Sky seems way too ambitious. I hope they deliver in the end. Yeah, me too. EB says, Spore was such a disappointment, right? But there was so many, and it's really hard to figure out where that game went wrong because there were so many good ideas in it. But I think at the end of the day, it felt like a bunch of little mini games.
It just didn't feel
it didn't feel cohesive
enough.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a big problem with it. Those comments over at live.vognetwork.com. All right, so that's the Game Awards in a nutshell. Anything else you guys want to say about it?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't think that the Dragon Age Inquisition thing was as clever as the Mass Effect thing last year.
Oh, with the little Conan O'Brien spots where he's saying, so what do you do in this game? Question dragons?
Yeah.
Some of that was a little silly. I get that Conan O'Brien does
even
these
the
hilarious...
introduction thing.
Yeah, I know. It was a little... I hate to say it, but if they could have cut something, maybe that's something they could have cut was those little Conan O'Brien bits because they did get a little grating. So, but Dark Sakura, do go back and watch for Ken and Roberta Williams because I literally got verklempt watching them out on stage.
At least as far
they
as
are that studly.
I was at this thing called work.
Yeah.
So even though I skimmed all of it,
there's this thing called
I'm
YouTube.
Not positive. I didn't notice that they had anybody calling gamers nerds or anything like that. Like I think was it Joel McHale was doing last year. Easy, gamers or nerd.
No, they didn't
basement dwelling. Yeah.
No, none of that.
Thank goodness they've realized that. Hey, those jokes aren't funny anymore, and they never really were that funny to begin with. It's like, okay, yeah, you're the first person to make the reference that gamers live in their mom's basements and play video games all day and don't get exposure to the sun. It's like, oh wow, that's the first time I've ever heard that joke.
Do you remember when I came back from the very first Gamer X and I was a little critical of Pandora Box, who's a famous drag queen who was on RuPaul's Drag Race because she was making those same type of jokes at Gamer X, and I was like, know your audience. Hello, that's not like those jokes are really cheap and it wasn't funny at all. So it's kind of funny, but it's a very similar sort of thing between I just compared a drag queen to Joel McHale. I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. All right. Anyway,
great job, sir.
Let's get into our gaming weeks and the types of video games that we have been playing this week, and then we can get into some news. So, Dark Sakura, how was your gaming week?
Actually, for all the work I've been doing, it was pretty busy. I played a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition and I've managed to get almost back to where I was in about 10 hours less gameplay. Plus, I'm a higher level than when I left off, so I'm doing okay. And I've been playing Fractal because I freaking love Fractal. I got
Fractal seems to be like your Tetris of sort. It's like the old go-to puzzle game you can always rely on.
It requires a lot of thought.
Yeah.
Because you're
How do you play it then?
Wait.
Get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. I don't even care if this isn't our house. Go make me a sandwich.
Speaking of pretentious,
I've just been playing a few things then.
Okay. I'm just giving you crap.
I played some Bejeweled.
Yeah.
What else did I play, though? I played something else because I picked up something through one of the stupid sales. Oh, yeah, I played more Mountain. The game is so stupid. But, I'm going to spin the mountain for a minute. Okay, I'm done. So
awesome. All right.
Yeah, and Dan got me Knights.
Oh, Sonic. Was that in the Sega Humble Bundle?
Nice. The Sega Humble Bundle.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. All right, Loki, how was your gaming week?
It was okay. I played really only two things this week. Lego Marvel Superheroes, a lot of it, because my son's actually playing it now. It's hilarious. He's actually knows how to play games now. It'd be back from when, I used to put Grand Theft Auto on, and he'd sometimes hit the gas and drive straight. Now he can actually control a character using the analog stick and stuff and walk around the city and do things. So how far he has come. So I've been playing a lot of that. And then just trying to unlock things. So now I figured out how to get to the part of the helicarrier where I can actually unlock the Deadpool bricks to give you multipliers and stuff. And so I'm trying to get some of that done so I can unlock more characters and all that stuff. So I played a ton of that this week, which is surprising because I have Grand Theft Auto 5
that I haven't really touched much of, but
That's surprising.
well, not really, because Grand Theft Auto 5, I played a ton of it already, and so basically I'm playing the same game again, whereas Lego Marvel Superheroes, I've never played through it before, so I can see why I'm more interested in this right now than I am Grand Theft Auto 5.
Speaking of Grand Theft Auto 5, I got really excited for a minute because I thought that game was going to be on sale this weekend because they were saying something at the Game Awards. Go on Steam, and all these Game of the Year things are going to be on sale. So you go on Steam, and sure enough, you can get like the South Park game for what, like $15?
18 for the entire thing.
Right? But Grand Theft Auto, not on sale.
No.
Well, it's not out yet on PC.
Oh, that's right. Well, even pre-order or whatever.
In January.
I thought maybe it was PlayStation 4 then. Maybe they said something about PlayStation 4 because they were like, oh, it'll be out on PlayStation.
Yeah, no, I saw
and
that.
There's no sale there either.
Yeah, they do have the thing for the PlayStation Experience stuff on there, but yeah, they don't have.
Sorry, I got that. It's lots of sales. I got that twisted in my head. Then it was the PlayStation Experience sale, and they said go online. There's a bunch of stuff on sale. And Grand Theft Auto 5, they like showed the logo, and I was like, yes, I'll finally get it.
They are going to still, they're doing their holiday sales still, but it's still week 1. It's been week 1 for like a week and a half now, so I'm waiting for them to switch it up. Very, 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 very close to buying Wolfenstein in New Order. I may do that today. I don't know. I'm that close because it's 50% off right now, but we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, I was surprised that I was kind of playing that more than anything, but once again, it's a new game to me, and surprisingly, there's a lot to do in it. And I actually was reading some, they're talking about, I was reading through some of the facts and stuff. They're saying that it's very similar to Lego Batman 2, so I have to see if that's, I don't think that was on PlayStation 4, so I may have to check that out, though. That sounds interesting. But it's a fun game. I'm having fun with it. The humor's good. I mean, and that's kind of what I enjoy about it. It's pretty funny. And then the other game I played very briefly, but I'm running into a problem because it is early access and it's still buggy. And one of the known bugs is that the controls don't work well with my gamepad on Windows 8.1. But it's a game called I Am Bread. And it's a game from the folks that brought you Surgeon Simulator. And Surgeon Simulator has a very unique control style. Well, this is just the same. A little bit different. You use the, on gamepad, you use the shoulder buttons and the triggers to move your toast. So each corner of the bread, your bread, and you're trying to become toast. So you're a piece of bread trying to become toast. Simple premise. But you have to move across a room in order to get there. And so each trigger controls a corner of the bread. And so you stick, one side down and you kind of tilt with your, analog stick. And you stick the next side down, you kind of roll around. But you have to be edible. So you can't, roll through things that might get you dirty. And in the same time, you're also destroying the house because, it's just hard to control.
Gaming is so strange right now. She's been playing a game about a mountain. You've been playing a game about bread. Somebody created an OLR Dream game about shit. Actual shit.
Pixel shit.
This is a very interesting time in gaming, is it not?
It's a funny game, though. But see,
it sounds great. It sounds great.
But that's it. I mean, seriously, though, think about it. The premise of this game can be summed up. You are a piece of bread that's trying to become toast. That's the premise of the game.
What do all three of those things I have in common have?
Bread that eventually leads to shit.
No, it's just the fact that...
And you can poop on a mountain.
It's just the fact that all those things are like these very obscure concepts, original concepts, but that could be still very simple in execution.
But it's funny because it's so hard to control. It's just like, it's the same appeal that you have with Surgeon Simulator where, of course, you're fucking stuff up. You're dropping the drill in the guy's face because you can't maneuver your hand well with, the keyboard and mouse. So this is kind of the same thing. I'm going to have to try to do it with keyboard and mouse, I guess, because I can't, they don't have a workaround yet. See, the problem is with the game pads that the triggers are backwards. So instead of pulling down the triggers to have it where that you kind of grab the ground, you have to let them go, so they're reversed. And so it's kind of hard to train your brain to do that right. I wish they had a way just to flip the axis on it, but they don't. So there's unfortunately no workaround for it yet. But maybe a joystick key type thing will fix it. But right now they're working on it. It's early access. It just came out. So I think I have a story about it later on, so we'll talk about that. But it's funny.
Well, it sounds like you're not the only one that's being tempted by these sales going on. I'm looking at our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Fabrice is in our chat room saying, I bought Wolfenstein yesterday. Didn't have time to play it, though, but that'll be something for tomorrow. So.
Well, already with, there's free. I downloaded Injustice. I haven't got a chance to play that yet.
Yeah, but a PlayStation Plus perk is a little different than actually
it's
purchasing.
So many games, though. Like, I'm seriously, my digital library on PlayStation Network is starting to get, like, it's not as bad as Steam because that would be a lot more money. There's not as many discounts there, but it's getting pretty big. Yeah. I meing, it's just like, I'm never going to play these games.
And Sony's
but I'm downloading them just in case.
Sony's trying to compete a little more with the, dropping games to a really, really low price to make them more appealing. There's a lot of stuff on sale right now.
I buy digital a ton on there. It's just so convenient. Instead of going to the store and buying stuff on sale, or used games, which I probably should. I don't know.
All right, let me talk about my Gimme Week real quick, and then we'll go over to Dan. I actually don't have a lot of new stuff because the only real new stuff I played Ultimate NES Remix on the Nintendo 3DS, which just came out on Friday.
What?
Yeah, it's $30.
I gotta get it.
Yeah. Do you want to? I can get my DS. You want to check it out?
It's the only reason I've even close to wanted a Wii U is NES Remix. So now that it's on the 3DS, fuck the Wii U.
And so, it's kind of it's kind of a greatest hits compilation, but they finally got leaderboards on every level, which is kind of a nice thing to see. I only played 30 minutes or less of the game, so I don't really feel comfortable giving the thing an entire review. But if you already own it on the Wii U, you might want to just think carefully about buying it on the 3DS as well, because there's not really a lot of new stuff, except for the fact that they have, I don't know what they call it, Ultra Super Mario or Super Fast Mario Brothers or something, which is basically an emulated version of Super Mario Brothers, but with the speed turned up to 500%. So, so you're running super fast. Talk about speed.
So does the time go that fast too? Because I could.
Yes. So you have to be very fast to get through the levels. Must go fast. Gotta go fast. And there's also they have the championship mode.
Sorry, just because what we're talking about here, and I know we were not going to talk about it because at least I don't think we're going to talk about it. But that Mario Maker looks pretty awesome now.
It does. It does.
I'm great. I wasn't really giving it much credit before. I'm like, wow, that does look pretty sweet. Some of their last trailer that they did was really ooh, that's some pretty cool stuff there.
It's going to be like Little Big Planet for Super Mario Brothers. This is the game a lot of people have been wanting, so I'm excited for that. Anyway, so I also played just a little bit of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which very much struck me as, wow, EA has definitely this multiplayer model, because this looks very similar with the whole opening the packs and stuff as Mass Effect multiplayer had, and as I'm seeing in the Dragon Age multiplayer. But I didn't really play enough of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare to tell you much more. But I imagine a lot of you are playing it this week, and we'll get into why later on. Otherwise, some of the same stuff I've been playing. I'm up to level 97 on World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor. Alan and I have been playing more Diablo 3. We got to level 70 on his seasonal, which is nice. So Alan got his transmog gear for Season 1, and now I have 2 level 70s in Seasonal. Because
on PC?
I have an addiction. Yeah, all on PC. I do have a level 70 on PS4, though, but there's no Seasons on PS4. And there never will be, because you're not always connected on PS4, and people have already figured out how to hack the game. So they're not going to do it because they know people will cheat. Because the game's not always online, and that's more important. I know. So yeah, that's really it for my gaming week. More Final Fantasy 14, a little bit of Dragon Age, more Geometry Wars 3, which I awfully still enjoy quite a bit. Was able to beat the second boss in that, and now making my way through the green stages when I'm not playing some of the retro stages in the game. But that game is a lot of fun as well. That's my gaming week. Dan, how about you? How was your gaming week?
I've done very little gaming this week, unfortunately. I did buy the Humble Bundle for Sega, and I played Sonic Generations for the first time, and I played Sonic and the All-Stars Racing. And actually what happened was I bought the Humble Bundle for Sonic All-Stars Racing, and then they re-released it with Generations, so I bought it again so I can get Sonic Generations. But it's an opportunity to give money to my favorite charity, Sega. So there you go. Most of the other stuff I gifted to Jamie.
Fair enough. That works. So
yeah, I probably could have given you a Sonic Racing since I already bought it, and I already have. I seriously am swimming in Steam codes in my Humble Bundle library that I've just have duplicates.
Why don't you just paste some in chat? Be like, here guys, thanks for listening.
All right.
They may not work international though. That's the only thing I'm worried about because we are fortunate we are joined by people in time zones that usually can't tune into the show.
I think it should be fine. I think that they don't.
One way to find out.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. All right. So that is it for all our gaming weeks. Let's get into some quick housekeeping. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/orangeloungeradio, and Twitter, twitter.com/OLR. Orange Lounge Radio will be returning live at its normal time next week, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Sorry for that. Some people have told me I like the noontime better. And I'm just sorry, guys. It's just that we have to kind of make a lot of rearrangements to do the show earlier. We can't move the show to noon ourselves every week. But don't forget, the show is podcast. And the great thing about that, you can listen to the podcast whenever you damn well please. I know some people that don't listen to the show until Saturday because that's when it is convenient for their schedule. So you know what? That's the great thing. Or some people binge listen to OLR too. They're like, I got to catch up on a month worth of OLR. So I'm going to play MMOs and listen to OLR literally all day. I've had people tweet me that before, and I think that's really awesome. And I don't mind being the background while you're grinding, wolf pelts and whatever you need to get in your MMO.
It's okay. I was listening to Mist and History when I'd go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like I would learn about, crazy King Ludwig and lose calories.
I listen to What's the Tea with RuPaul and Michelle Visage because it keeps me laughing and gets me going. Anyway.
I don't do podcasts, but I do.
Wait, you don't do podcasts?
Well, listening to podcasts. I mean, I don't really listen to podcasts too much, but I do watch a web series, which, as you probably saw, I'm trying to get them on the show, so hopefully soon. Just have to get them to commit to a day, so,
Yeah, nice. I listen. I should give a plug, because they're always good about plugging us to some of the other shows that some friends of mine do. Because I do listen in the car a lot to GameBuoy.org, which today is Captain Spike's birthday, by the way. I listen a lot to Koopa Club, which when we were talking about our game of the year, and it just depends what group you are. I can already tell you Koopa Club will name Bayonetta 2 their game of the year because they love Nintendo that much over there. Video Game Realness probably will also name Bayonetta 2. They're also big Nintendo fans over there. Game Bar. There's lots of great other shows I listen to as well. So
I would like a Wii U, but I just can't justify buying one without my wife getting mad. So
you never know. They might even.
So
get cheaper next
family,
year.
if you buy me one, then that's okay. 'Cause then I can get one.
All right. Let's get into some news. We're gonna get into the news for the week, of which there was quite a bit, thanks to PlayStation's event, and even without that, there was still a lot of stuff going on. It was a very busy week.
Interesting. So this week, there was a couple announcements from Capcom regarding Street Fighter. One being, of course, that Capcom is bringing Ultra Street Fighter 4 exclusively to PlayStation 4 this spring. They're saying that the port of the game will come with all the costumes that have been made available so far via DLC. No firm date has been given yet to when we can expect that. But on top of that, not only are people on PlayStation 4 getting Ultra Street Fighter 4, they are also getting Street Fighter 5. That's right. Street Fighter 5 has been announced as a PlayStation 4 and PC exclusive. And before you think, hey, that they did the same thing with Tomb Raider on Xbox One, I'm just going to wait until the exclusive period is done. They made sure to clarify that, in fact, this is Adam Boyce said, PlayStation 4 will be the only console this game ever appears on. Mm-hmm. I don't think you get much clearer than that.
Well, until Super Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 5 Turbo or Street Fighter 5 Turbo Ultra Mega.
Yeah, I'm not holding out that they're not going to have like 6 or 7 different re-releases of the game.
I think a big thing to consider why Microsoft didn't get this game, and I'm not trying to hate on Xbox One. Xbox One, I don't think there's any reason why Xbox One doesn't deserve the game. However, exclusives are a part of the industry. This is why Mario doesn't show up on PlayStation 4. What would Nintendo have for their Wii U if they didn't have exclusives? So exclusives are just a part of this industry and wheeling and dealing and all this stuff. However, there's another huge factor coming into play, which is why the Xbox One got shut out of this, and that is the cross-platform play between PC and PlayStation 4. That's huge. And we all know that Microsoft, for whatever reason, has chosen to exclude themselves from these types of cross plays. So
Which is weird because they used to do that back like in the early Xbox 360 days.
Xbox One could have Final Fantasy XIV. Square Enix wanted to do it for Xbox One, but they would not run separate servers for Microsoft. So, in a way, although I think at the end of the day, Sony and Capcom have an arrangement. Capcom is a Japanese company. The Xbox One is a non-factor in Japan right now. As much as that might, sting to hear, it's the reality. Xbox One's a non-factor in Japan right now. It makes this relationship make a lot of sense. But at the same time, this is going to put a lot of pressure on Microsoft because I think there's going to be a perceived notion that a big reason why the Xbox One didn't get this is because it doesn't support the cross-platform play. And I think if you are hoping that Ultra Street Fighter V or whatever the fuck they call it will come to Xbox One, that wall will have to drop. So this is going to put a lot of pressure on Microsoft to reverse that policy. And I'm going to predict, I'm going to be one of those guys making predictions. That's fine. This is going to be one of those things that they come out at E3 next year and say that they're going to drop the wall. I'm actually going to go so far to predict they're going to announce Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox One next E3. And this will be their big, we are no longer requiring that Xbox One have their own isolated servers. So, we'll see.
I still think they're all full of crap.
Well, what do you think? What do you guys think of the Street Fighter V reveal? Because I'm seeing a lot of people. I mean, there's definitely two camps. There's definitely some people that are very, very, very excited to see it. But there's some people that are like, it looks a lot like Street Fighter 4.
It does look a lot like Street Fighter 4, just with more particles.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the stages are, though, where like it busts, they're busting through the wall and it's kind of extending out. I think that's something that
Mortal Kombat.
Injustice. Injustice I know
special.
did that, but I want to say that I think King of Fighters had that as well. Maybe
like way back in the day. Yeah.
That was special when it was done in Mortal Kombat 2.
or no, actually, I think even Dead or Alive did that. I don't know. They've all done that at this point. So, but it looked different. It's something that's separated, I guess. But
I still feel like what we got. I think that gameplay trailer that we got was an apology from Capcom for the whole thing leaking a day early because Yoshinori Ono looked a little surprised. He was kind of taken by surprise because the guy was like, "Oh, we do have some gameplay footage to show," and he was kind of like, "Oh." Okay, he was like, because he's so adorably cute, and he's like skipping over to see what's on the phone. I love that guy. Anyway, so he kind of looked a little surprised, and I think that was probably Capcom's apology because that Street Fighter V trailer had leaked a day early. That took a lot of wind out of the PlayStation Experience keynote sales. There was a lot of other good stuff at that keynote. I'm not saying it was like a bad keynote or anything, but that Street Fighter V unveil exclusive on PlayStation 4. Imagine if they were able to keep that a secret. That would have been a huge moment for that room in Vegas. Huge moment. And so to kind of have that knocked away, they needed something to make up for it. So I think Capcom gave him the gameplay as an apology, but I think it's so early on. I think it's just too soon to tell. I think there's many, many more layers to be peeled back about this game. So I think it's definitely too early. I mean, right now, yes, it looks quite a bit like Street Fighter 4, but I'm still hopeful that we're going to see more of the differences as time goes on here. That's for sure.
I want another Marvel vs. Capcom.
Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Dungeon Buster says, Street Fighter 4 is still going strong. Seems a bit too soon for a new one. Well, it did come right after that talk about Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, Ultra Street Fighter 4 would be in the spring. I'm guessing this would be coming out in fall. Actually, maybe even late summer, I'd guess, because I know Capcom tends to release stuff at weird times. They like to use August or October usually for the releases like this. So maybe.
Well, I think 2015 is generous. I think there's a distinct possibility Street Fighter V not till 2016. Honestly,
who cares? No, seriously, who cares? We're gonna get a new Mortal Kombat next year. We're gonna have Ultra Street Fighter 4. I mean.
Oh yeah, I think it's all right. It's all right. There'll be plenty.
Can we get new PlayStation All Stars? I'd be down with that. Maybe I'm in the minority there.
I think you might be. All right. Moving on. Speaking of Steam, we've talked a little bit about Steam tonight. Steam came out with some big news independent of all of these other events going on the weekend. Steam unveiled Steam Broadcasting this week. Steam Broadcasting will allow you to stream your gameplay to friends, strangers, and any Steam user without having to use open broadcast software or any other type. It's built into Steam. So if you start playing and you hit the broadcast button, you can broadcast your gameplay. You can also, and this is a pretty neat thing, you can also keep your streaming private. So if you only want to stream to a handful of people, you can do that. So this is very interesting, is that Steam is now throwing their hat into the broadcasting ring. It's very important to note, this is not Steam sending a signal to Twitch or Ustream. This is Steam broadcasting within Steam. There's also quite a few limitations right now, such as you can't use a webcam with this, or any type of custom layers, or things like the things that people like to do on Twitch. It's just the gameplay and your voice. So it's even kind of behind where the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are at with the streaming.
Well, they do have a chat window, I think, as well.
They do have a chat window. They do have that. So, but it's all still early. I mean, again, it is in beta, but it is very interesting to see Steam throwing their hat into the ring. And I think a lot of us have been saying for some time it would be nice to see Twitch get a little bit of competition, because competition is going to make things better. And Hitbox isn't really taking off, and
Steam
Ustream is really not good for game streaming.
If Steam wants to,
sorry.
I was gonna say, if Steam wants to come up with another YouTube, I'd be down with that.
That'd be awesome.
See, I've been noticing that like the various streaming services out there are really, I'd say, finding different niches to cater to, like Ustream and Livestream. Both seem to be a combination of artists doing stuff and political activism.
Yeah, Ustream seems to be also more for like concerts and entertainment type events. I mean, I do realize the PlayStation 4 streams to Ustream, but if you look, like, filter Ustream and look at what people are broadcasting on Ustream, and it's almost all Playroom streams because they can't go to Twitch. So, and what do people do on their Playroom streams? Talk shows and showing titties. All right. Now, Twitch actually did respond to this whole thing, so I want to mention this real quick. The VP of Marketing, Matthew DiPietro, I hope I said that right, said, "We are huge fans of Steam and work with Valve regularly on various events and product integrations. While Steam's broadcasting solution and the Twitch platform are very different things with vastly different feature sets, it's really validating to see a company like Valve embrace streaming in this way. Live video is the future of social connectivity for gamers, and this is another proof point. We wish them the best of luck." So that was a statement that was like, well, we don't want Valve to not let people stream on Twitch anymore, although that really can't happen the way you can't filter a game out of Twitch very easily. So I don't think that would really happen. But they are trying to say, like, this is very different from what we've got going on at Twitch. These are two very different things. So, and to be fair, he's right. They are very different things. You know, you can't get Steam broadcasting right now on your iPhone or on the PlayStation 4. You can't do that yet. Now, would this be a very logical thing to build into the iOS and Android app that Steam already has for the future? Absolutely.
Ooh, they could do that on an iOS and watch me play Bejeweled all day.
Would this be an easy thing for them to integrate into the Steam box in the future? Absolutely. So, again, very early beta. I think there is a lot more to come from this. We shall see. Let's move on with some more news. Dark Sakura.
Well, to jump into a little bit of piracy talk, well, there was an app that was on the Google Play Store for Pirate Bay. And Google's like, nope, took it down. It was basically... it took down not just the Pirate Bay, but it took down Pirate Bay Proxy, Pirate Bay Premium, Pirate Bay Mirror, and Pirate App. And basically, they just are like, we are not going to have anything related to torrenting at all involved in our service. And the official reason for removal on the thing says violation of intellectual property and impersonation or deceptive behavior provisions of the content policy. Please refer to the IP infringement and impersonation policy help article for more information. So basically, the Pirate Bay proxy developer, who goes by Gavin, said he was disappointed because they didn't do anything to other browsers. Well, they weren't. Let me start over. they weren't doing this to other places. They said that the app was no different than Firefox or Chrome. But in this case, because it was specifically for Pirate Bay, is why they took it down.
It's not like the Google Store doesn't have a piracy problem all their own, but I digress.
Yeah.
I mean, what could these apps have really done? Is it more of like a image thing where Google just doesn't want to be affiliated with it because of the image?
Well, some of them, like, it depends. Like, some of them I know that you can download, like, torrents for actual, APKs and stuff like that. So you can download the actual apps from it.
I guess I'm just naive because I didn't think you could do all that crap on
Yeah,
your
you
phone.
can do BitTorrent on phone.
Wow.
They haven't blocked the app for people who've already gotten it because, I mean, over 900,000 folks have used it.
Wouldn't a lot of folks, though, that might be into using a site like the Pirate Bay, wouldn't a lot of them kind of know how to sideload apps, though? And
They would. It's more of a convenience thing. It's like, oh, I want to download Angry Birds now. I mean, I don't know why you would do it BitTorrent. I mean, you can just download something like that, other ways that's maybe a little bit more direct, but I don't know.
yeah.
It's just there.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, it does no company good to say, oh, we're going to embrace you, people that love piracy. So that's why they had to distance themselves from it. I think at the end of the day, it's an image thing more than anything. So that's that. But I would like to see how Google Play is going to tackle some of their other piracy problems. But anyway, let's move on. Loki.
All right. So apparently, even though it's been out for over a year now, Target in Australia has, at least now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not exactly sure when Grand Theft Auto 5 released in Australia, but I would assume it's around the time that it came out in North America. But I'm making that assumption there. So if that's the case, then yes, it's been out for about a year or over a year. So now it's being taken off the shelves of Target because, basically saying we've been speaking to many customers over the recent days about the game, and there is a significant level of concern about the game's content. We feel the decision to stop selling Grand Theft Auto 5 is in line with the majority of views of our customers. Basically, they're saying that there's feedback from customers about the game's depictions of violence against women, which I don't get that because I've played through the game 100%, and there's not really exact instances where you're targeting women in the game, aside from, you can run around and beat up anybody, and there just happens to be women walking around as well as men, which I think that's equal opportunity offenders, if you ask me. I mean, but whatever.
Well, and also Grand Theft Auto is Grand Theft Auto. You don't go into that experience thinking like, oh, it's going to be, happy Hello Kitty, friends forever.
Yeah, I don't
type of stuff.
understand. Like, so you think it's okay that so you think it would be okay to like say have it where you can't hurt women but you can kill men or something? You think that's fair? I mean, because
No.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Is you can maim anybody in the game, including wildlife.
Violence for all.
You can beat up a deer if you want. I mean, so I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous at this point why that now, like a year after it's been selling, that, it's bad.
Well, speaking of piracy, this just encourages it.
And on top of Target, Kmart has joined Target in taking off Grand Theft Auto 5 off their shelves. To which I say, there's still Kmarts?
Yeah, it was that one near my old house.
Are they like time capsules in Australia like they are? Do we have anybody in the time in Australia is going to be awful right now for this noon show, but I'm curious in general if anybody's listening over there on the podcast, are your Kmarts in a time capsule like the ones over here? Because I would say, did Kmart even have Grand Theft Auto 5 in the first place? Like, aren't they still selling like, Sega Genesis at the Kmarts in Australia?
They have Grand Theft Auto like
1,
3, San Andreas. They've taken San Andreas off the shelves because they think it's the same game. I don't know. I think it's a little ridiculous. Yeah, there's you can do violence against women, but there's not like a mission that says, go kill these women. It's like there's a mission where you're torturing somebody who's a man. But I mean, no one seems to be having taking offense to that. But
I'm going to one thing. True equality, which should be the actual goal of feminism here, means it goes both ways. You can't have, oh, well, we don't like that just because of how women are treated in that, when every character is treated the same way. It'd be one thing if it was a disproportionate number of actual missions in game,
right,
that were considered belligerent toward women.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I kind of think I don't know. I get the feeling we're focusing too much on the women versus men aspect in this conversation, because I think Australia, as the territory, has a history of kind of being oversensitive with a lot of video games. I mean, they tend to ban a lot of stuff. They banned Mortal Kombat over there. They've banned, I know they've banned other games as well, because it seems like every few months on this show we're talking about such and such game isn't available in Australia.
But didn't they do that a long time ago before they had that R18 rating or whatever that they have now?
I heard that wasn't really stopping games from not happening over there, though. I mean,
no, I think it's ridiculous, but
this tells me that there's a very, like, you know how we have people in the U.S., ultra sensitive, conservative people that want to govern. And I'm not saying if you're conservative, you're bad. Listen, hear me out here. It's a certain set of conservatives that want to police morality. We have that here, right? I think Australia probably has a lot of that too. And since maybe they've failed because of what you're talking about, the rating system, this is their new approach. Contact retailers and get the games pulled off of shelves and use these clips of beating up on women as an example.
Well,
that's what it is.
My friend that lives in Adelaide was telling me that there actually is a really crazy conservative environment right now. Especially, I mean, if you look at I don't know if you paid much attention to the overall political environment in Australia right now, but their PM's a dick.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who are just sort of taking it as a license to be extra conservative because that's the way that the government is going. There's certain areas out there that will really try to crack down on just anything that isn't fitting the conservative norm. And so I think that's also another contributing factor to why this is going on.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, to be fair, it is, you know, this retailer's choice to do that. And also, to be fair, if you live in Australia, I'm sure they've got, God, I don't even consider Kmart a choice anymore for buying video games, but like Target, I guess, could be. But there's plenty of other choices out there if you want to buy that game at retail, and hell, you can buy it digitally as well. So I wouldn't say that these two retailers taking it off shelves is necessarily, you know, dooming, but I mean, remember like Walmart over, you know, in the United States, you know, taking music, you know, they've taken different albums off the shelves because of, you know, lyrics and stuff like that. So I could see that they want to position themselves in a certain way to their customers, and fine, then just don't do business with them if you don't like it. And I think that's fair, since, you know, it's not like that the whole country is banning the game. So you've got options.
All right. Well, let's move on and talk about one event at the PlayStation Expo that many are saying is the troll event of the year, the biggest troll that's happened all year. So Square, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this, but let me set the stage here. So Square Enix gets on the stage at PlayStation Expo and says, well, we're celebrating, 20 years, and I'm summarizing here. We're celebrating 20 years of the PlayStation, and it's been many, many years since this game came out, and the Final Fantasy VII logo comes out on stage, or comes up on the stage, right? And he says, so it's time that we bring Final Fantasy VII to the PlayStation 4. And I don't know about you guys, but I did the gay gasp. When he said Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 4, I did, I did that because I was like, oh, it's happening! Like this is like really happening, right? That infamous Final Fantasy VII remake that we've been, saying Square needs. And I realize there's Final Fantasy VII haters out there that are like, move the fuck on with it, da 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 da. But you can't ignore.
They need to shut up because we don't care.
You can't ignore. There's a large amount of people who want to see Final Fantasy VII get remade, just like 4 got remade and 3 got remade,
or even just the style of Advent Children, because Advent Children is fucking amazing,
right? So when they said Final Fantasy VII was coming out on PlayStation 4, and then the crowd goes wild, right? They're like, woo! And I'm sitting there at home going, like, oh my gosh, this is really happening.
Heavy breathing.
I know, right? Yes, heavy breathing, cat picture, right? So, and then they show the miasma and like the high definition, the live stream, and I'm sitting there going, like they're gonna show everything in HD, right? And then they show the Final Fantasy VII in a little tiny window, and I'm like, okay, they're just showing the original game, right? And then they're gonna show what it looks like now. Nope, it's still the original Final Fantasy VII because it's just the original Final Fantasy VII as it was ported to the PC. With the slightly up-res textures and the slight differences. That's right. It's a PC. Okay, so Final Fantasy VII ported to PC, ported to PlayStation 4. That's what was announced. And the entire audience... F you! You son of a bitch!
Now, that's not the biggest troll ever. I mean, after all, Mega Man being in Marvel versus Capcom? No, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That was the biggest troll of them all. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Or the fact that there was even going to be a Tekken Cross Street Fighter was a pretty big troll.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Remember,
it still could happen.
That was the tweet I wrote, by the way, when they announced Street Fighter V exclusive for PlayStation 4. I said, "Don't worry, Xbox and Wii U, you can have Tekken Cross Street Fighter."
But yeah, it's just I won't buy it. I already have it on PC. Not playing it on PC because it's in my Steam library. But I just don't see a reason to buy a shitty port of a game. I'm sorry. No, I won't buy it.
I'm sure it'll look all right on PlayStation 4.
It looks all right on PC, but I'm not buying it.
You can buy Final Fantasy VII. Well, I guess you can't buy it for PlayStation 4 because
it better be fucking dirt cheap. Then it better be like $8 on there, not like like $29.99.
It'll carry the Square Enix tax. It'll be $19.99.
Fuck that. Ain't buying it.
Yeah. So
do they think that we don't have access to the internet and we just don't realize that it's just a port of the PC title?
Well, let's give Square Enix a call. I'm hearing yes. They just replied yes. That's what we believe. All right. Dark Sakura, what do you have for us?
Well, back to a little bit of politics. There is a Senator Ron Wyden, who's a Democrat from Oregon, who has put in a bill to ban the use of backdoors to circumvent encryption, as in not just computer encryption, but encryption on phones, other devices, any type of digital data. It's called the Secure Data Act, and it would basically prevent the government from telling manufacturers that they have to provide a way to decrypt personal data for investigations. Meaning that it's not just to be protection from other people, but protection from the government, from snooping, as it were. But the thing is, that would also, of course, apply to, I believe, justice cases. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we already started having this go on when Apple said that the iPhone 6s, they were not going to allow any external access for decryption. I think it's actually a really positive step in the case of user advocacy. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we're probably going to see this expand to, maybe people's Vitas or DSs, or, for people who crack their own devices, their encryption is going to be protected.
Very interesting. Do you think this has a chance of actually passing?
I think there's going to be some pretty hardcore lobbying against it. I think anything has a chance as long as people think with their morality instead of their wallet.
Well, I mean, I know we've heard a lot about, like, the government is asking Facebook for all these records and Yahoo, and somebody told them no. Was it Apple that told them no? Somebody said that they came out and told the government no. They're not giving them the data.
Apple did for the iPhone 6 encryption.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but very interesting. We'll see what comes of this, because I don't think anybody likes the idea of the government being able to snoop on them. But I also get the double-edged sword of, well, but then there's those, one bad person out of 10,000 that we need to be able to hear those conversations. So, I don't know. Going to be very interesting to see what develops from this. It'll be a very controversial issue, I'm sure. All right, let's travel around the world and check out some release dates of video games coming out near you soon. Loki, if anything. This might be a very empty week.
Yeah, it would be nice if we had websites that actually had release dates now, but some certain websites decided to remove that information.
There's nothing else left.
Yeah,
I know of one thing in the U.S. this week.
Well, there's not really any retail releases, I don't think. I'm getting there, but yeah, I want to say that last week was pretty much the last set of releases that we had for this week as far as retail goes. I want to say I think Game of Thrones is this week, but I don't think that was retail. Maybe that was last week. I think
Game of Thrones is already out, but maybe the retail's this week. Yeah. Lara Croft and Temple of Osiris, I know.
That's right. They're doing a retail release of that. I forgot. Yeah, so they have that coming out. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else. Like I said, I'm trying to get there, but I don't see anything. In fact, actually, here we go. Yeah. I don't see anything coming out.
All right, yeah, it's gonna be a slow week.
Unless you want some Assassin's Creed hoodies, in which case, then yes, there's lots of those.
So it's more of a digital distribution week then with the Lara Croft and I think Suikoden 2 gets its big hyped release this week. I know a lot of people were very happy to hear. So was it Lara Croft and Temple of Osiris, and apparently they are doing I guess Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light is getting a disc release as well. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's not. It would make a lot of sense if the two of them were kind of like bundled or something like that.
That's not a disc release. That's all digital. Is Tetris Ultimate coming out this week? It looks like. Yeah, Tetris Ultimate's coming out digitally. Huh.
Neat.
I don't see what else here. This is all digital shit. Yeah, okay, so here we go. So Lara Croft and Temple of Osiris coming out retail, and then if digital, I guess, Destiny's expansion, The Dark Below's coming out now. What else was there? That Tetris game on looks like a PlayStation 4. And that's it.
All right, let's travel to Japan. Believe it or not, they have a lot of stuff still coming out this week, including, I love this. This is a limited edition PlayStation 4. People losing their minds here over that 20th anniversary PlayStation 4. But over in Japan, they're getting a Dragon Quest Metal Slime PlayStation 4. And that's coming out this week. And that looks really cool. It's like a little actual metal slime on the box. And yeah, oh gosh, that looks really cute. I want one of those. Unfortunately, it's going to cost me $800 if I want to import it. So maybe not. But that
you don't want
really
that bad.
Yeah, I don't want it that bad. Exactly. But there are some games as well. Grand Theft Auto 5 gets its release in Japan this week. Joy Sound TV Plus also gets its Japanese release. Need for Speed Rivals Complete Edition, which I'm assuming that means it includes all the DLC, is this week. Nobunaga no Yabu Suzo with Power Up Kit comes out in a regular and a treasure box this week. So that is out on the PlayStation 4. Going over to the Xbox One. The Xbox One has Grand Theft Auto 5 this week. That is really its only release. Seeing if there's still things on the PlayStation 3 this week. There are. Shining Resonance from Sega is out this week on the PlayStation 3, as is Assassin's Creed Rogue, Nobunaga no Yabu Sazu, Hajime no Ippo The Fighting, Ryuga Gotoku 1 and 2 HD Edition gets a price reduction, as does Ryuga Gotoku 5 gets a price reduction as well. So some games getting discounts there. On the PlayStation 3, looking at the Wii U this week, no, but you have Sonic Toon on December 18th. And on the PlayStation Vita this week, we have Sengoku Hime 5. Earth Defense Forces 2 Portable V2 comes out this week on the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not going to import it?
No, I don't have a Vita anymore. So, no. Although the new Earth Defense Force game may be.
Nice. Grisaya no Rakuen La Eden de la Grisaya comes out this week.
And the portable V2, I think that's just a remake of the last one that they put out. Because they did have a portable as a 20... Well, it was over here as a... as a portable 2017 V2, I think. I don't remember what it's called.
Now, next week in Japan, big release on December 13th. Yokai Watch 2 Senuchi comes out next week, and this series pretty big deal over in Japan, and I think it's finally coming out here. I can't wait till we get it. Yeah, so that's a really big release on the 3DS. So even though things are slowing down here, this is a big week in Japan for releases. Moving on to Dark Soccer and the UK releases.
On the 9th, we have Star Wars The Old Republic, Shadows of Revan on PC. On the 11th, we've got Blaze Blue Continuum Shift Extend on PC, Rune Factory 4 on 3DS, and then on PC and Mac, we have the Talos Principle. On the 14th, it's Halo Spartan Strike on Windows Phone and PC. That's it.
All right. Just a couple more stories for you guys, and then the classic game of the week. But first, Loki.
So thanks to PlayStation or the PlayStation Experience and celebrating 20 years of the PlayStation, EA has decided to be generous and give away free games for the length of the PlayStation Experience. So ending tonight, December 7th at midnight, they're going to be giving away, or up to that, they're going to be giving away on PlayStation 4 Plants vs. Zombies Guardian Warfare, Mirror's Edge on PlayStation 3, and Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Vita. And those are going to be free on the PlayStation Store during that time. So if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and download those, or at the very least go on the Sony Store online and just mark them all to download. That way you have them for the future. I'm not sure if you need PlayStation Plus to get them. I know I had that, so I don't know.
Which Need for Speed Most Wanted is it?
It's the one that was on the Vita.
I don't know. Must have been the new one.
Yeah, I think it's
the new one.
It's
yeah.
the new one, but it's only on the
It was
Vita.
like the old school PS2 version. That game
Yeah,
was
I know that got
awesome.
No, that got confusing. Yeah, it's the new Most Wanted.
And sadly, a lot of the podcast listeners, it's going to be too late by the time you hear this. But hopefully you guys are tapped in enough to the game blogs and Twitter and so forth that you already heard about this and got your games flagged for download. What do you guys think, though? It's a very interesting... I mean, EA has no real need to do this. The interesting thing, though, I will throw this out there. I mean, Mirror's Edge, I really feel like a lot of people already own that game one way or another. And EA does have a sequel they want to create awareness for.
Plants vs. Zombies
Has a lot of microtransactions.
and to be honest, I was not interested in buying that game ever. So
It's-
it looked okay,
alright.
but it was like it never was. Ooh, when I get a PlayStation 4,
Yeah.
I'm totally gonna buy this game. No, that never happened.
Again, I don't want to review something based on only like 30 minutes, but it's not exactly the type of game that's, get me like super excited. It's not as awesome as
It's
Mass
like
Effect.
it's supposed to be like Team Fortress 2 with plants and zombies.
Yeah, sorta. But yeah, they can still make the money from microtransactions and so forth. So I'm not that I'm trying to like belittle what's going on here, because free games are a good thing, but I don't think the risk factor or how much EA is going to lose in this is necessarily a huge deal, because I think what they lose in Garden Warfare sales they'll make up for is people.
I think Mirror's Edge is like $10 now on the
Yeah.
PlayStation Network. So.
Yeah.
And Most Wanted, well,
But
it's probably
yeah, I don't think a lot of people are seeking out
No.
that game anymore, so there you go. As far as Mirror's Edge goes, though, if by somehow you have still missed this game time and time again, do go get it now that it's free. I mean, at least check that one out if nothing else. If you got a PlayStation 3, which a lot of you do at this
just
point.
mark it download.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it gonna hurt you?
Exactly. Act Def says, I got the free game, but no space in my Vita memory card. Well, at least if you have it flagged on your account, you can always download it when you get a bigger memory card. Because that's the interesting thing, is that the price of the system keeps dropping, but the memory cards are still expensive. Anyway.
That's because they still use their stupid proprietary memory cards.
Yeah, right. All right, well, one more story for you guys before we get to the end of this segment, and that is a Wii U game that EA was working on. And speaking of EA, they're giving away these free games, but the Wii U's getting nothing. Because here's the deal. EA was working on SimCity for the Wii U. That's right. EA's recent SimCity release was at one point being planned for the Wii U, but
which joke should I make? I don't know.
It ended up being canceled.
Was it because it didn't support online very well?
Well, we don't know why the game was canceled ultimately.
Or because the game was just not good?
It could be because it wasn't the Wii U's not tapped in online.
Or because they have a hate boner for the Wii U?
I don't know. Maybe the Wii U's didn't sell enough. SimCity didn't have enough inertia to really justify the Wii U release. I don't know. We'll never know. They haven't said why it was canceled, just that some things leaked out about that it was something that was being planned at one point. SimCity on the Wii U. Which, I don't know if you guys ever played like SimCity 2000 on PlayStation 1, but I think the only time SimCity really worked well was the original on the Super Nintendo. And that's because Nintendo kind of put their own little magic on it. You know, they did their own little thing to it to make it a little more controller friendly. But those games really require a mouse and keyboard to really play. However, the touchpad, I think, could have really made up for a lot of that. So it's kind of too bad we'll never get to see how it could have executed on the Wii U, because I bet it could have been pretty good. So we'll never know. But there you go. SimCity was a thing that was being working on for Wii U and was ultimately canceled. Well, not canceled and running strong week after week after week is the classic game of the week. Dark Soccer's going to step into the vault, take a walk down memory lane, and find a game that she thinks, hey, you guys should be checking this out right now. The classic game of the week. Dark Soccer, what is this week's classic game of the week?
The classic game of the week is a game that came out on the ZX Spectrum in 1984 called Deus Ex Machina. And I wanted to pick something on the Spectrum since we didn't get the system over here in the U.S. So we've got our UK listeners today, or our European listeners. This is actually a really weird game. Basically, it does have an amazing voice cast, though. It has Ian Dury, it has John Pertwee in it, as in we knew him as the Third Doctor. Quite a few people, and including the composer Mel Croucher. The music in this game is really good, too. It's basically a game that you cover the life of a defect that grows inside of a machine, from conception through growth, evolution, and death. And it's sort of based off the 7 Ages of Man from As You Like It. The game is... It was really, I think... Well, it got lots of great reviews, but it wasn't necessarily anything that people knew what to make of right when it came out. It was really odd, and then people didn't know how to sell it either. So it was, at the time, only mail order, direct to the public. Pirated a whole lot, and the game's now got this massive cult status. Visually today, it's really not a lot to look at. In 1984, this was pretty, crazy go nuts. And you start off like the level that we're looking at right now. You follow its DNA formation, then you follow watching the embryo grow, then you follow it through childhood and everything, and it's quite a bit out there. Even today, it's quite a bit out there. But I think that if this game were to be remade today, I mean, it'd probably be nothing to run it. But it would still be one of those. It reminds me of a lot of indie games that you see today. So that's why I think it's really is a big influential on, I think, a lot of our indie gamers. There was a reimagining of the game in 2010 that went under Deus Ex Machina 2, and same director, everything, and it had Christopher Lee as the programmer, the main character in there. But I don't know if they ever actually finished it. I didn't see anything about it if it was actually finished. But the game was listed as one of the 1001 video games you must play before you die. And so there you go.
It's really trippy, and it seems like so like the whole voice acting thing was like, it wasn't like, because these old computers couldn't play CD quality.
It was off cassette.
So like you would play this cassette while you play the game. Mm-hmm. That's so weird.
But it's that way you get though.
Yeah.
The whole experience together.
So that means everything that you're actually doing in the game has to be timed.
And if I'm right, actually, I think that the game played off cassette. I want to say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What a neat little concept.
Yeah. So I mean, for its time, definitely innovating.
Yeah.
So that's the game I picked.
All right, there it is. Your classic game of the week from the Spectrum, Deus Ex Machina. Very obscure choice. I like that one. All right, well, that is going to do it for part A of the show. Oh, wait.
And it's not related to the Deus Ex series. This is
it has nothing to
different.
do with the newer series.
Which I do recall that the reason why they couldn't call Deus Ex anything more than that was because of copyright on this game.
Well, guys, we have to, before we actually get to our break here, we actually have some breaking news.
This is an NBC.
All right, so let's get to. No, it's not. It's OLR. We have some breaking news. This is not happy breaking news. Actually, this is kind of crappy breaking news and very unfortunate. But Ralph Baer, the father of video games, he has passed away at the age of 92.
That's a good run.
Yeah, it's a great run. So, but if you don't know the name, he actually was called the Thomas Edison of the home TV game in Popular Electronics magazine in 1980. And that's because he created the Odyssey, which was really the first home video game system. The patent being filed in 1970 and released by Magnavox in 1972. You can thank Ralph Baer for home video game consoles.
I just don't like that they insulted him by comparing him to Thomas Edison.
Well,
plus Nolan Bushnell totally stole the idea for Pong from him.
So there it is. It's also the first home light gun game. An add-on for the Odyssey called Shooting Gallery was Ralph Baer's as well. His contributions were recognized by receiving the National Medal of Technology by then President George W. in 2006.
Also created Simon.
Did he really?
Yep.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, the story behind that is really cool.
Yeah.
Atari made a game called Touch Me, and Bayer saw it and then made Simon, and it was the biggest seller of 1978. So to make up for getting Pong ripped off from him, he quickly ripped Touch Me off from Atari.
Huh.
There you go.
Well, there you go. That is kind of interesting how that all works. Well, there you go. A tip of the hat and pouring out the 40 to Mr. Ralph Baer. Rest in peace. Okay, we're going to use this opportunity to take a break, but we will be back with more of Orange Lounge Radio. Don't go anywhere. The Fugle question of the week, some rapid-fire news, your emails, of which there are a lot tonight, Twitters, and live calls. We will still take live calls when we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio, episode number 578 in progress, live at a special time at vognetwork.com. We're taping a little early today because Dark Sakura and I have some plans in the Bay Area this evening. So it's this recurring thing that's been going on for years and years, and every year we miss it because we were always doing OLR. So we said, you know what, this year let's do two birds with one stone. We'll be able to make this gathering, and we'll do an earlier OLR because once every few months, probably actually it's more like every 6 months, we like to do an earlier show just so people in different time zones are able to participate as well, because it is the show, of course, where every gamer has a voice. I really wish we could do a different time for everybody every week, but unfortunately we have our own personal lives to juggle. I'm sure you can understand, but that's why we have the podcast, which you can check out at iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn. There's millions of places to check out podcasts. You can also just listen to it directly at either orangeloungeradio.com or vognetwork.com. Take your pick. Lots of great ways to catch up with the podcast every week. All right, let's get into some rapid-fire news. Lots of other news going on this week. Loki.
All right. So this is kind of cool. Some of the announcements that they were making during the PlayStation experience included some games that are getting ported over to different platforms, including Broken Age and Day of the Tentacle, the special edition, coming to PlayStation 4 and Vita. So no idea what's special about the special edition for Day of the Tentacle, but I love Day of the Tentacle, so I will probably have to buy it. And then they're also saying that on top of that, Gang Beasts, I guess, is coming to PlayStation 4 as well, which actually is a pretty fun-looking game. And, I guess, what else here? No, that's it so far. So, that was during their keynote that they announced. No time frame.
I'm super excited for the Day of the Tentacle remake. I thought of you when they announced that, actually.
I'm down, so that should be awesome. And then, actually the game I was trying to play during break, but my X-Patter thing's not working correctly. It's a game called I Am Bread, and it just released on Steam Early Access. It's from Bossa Studios, who did Surgeon Simulator, and if you want a game that just is really weird and silly, then this is probably going to be up your alley. I think it's 15% off right now. I think it's like $8.99 instead of $9.99 or something. And basically, the premise of the game is you're a piece of bread, and you control the bread by holding down different corners of the
Kind of
bread.
look like Q-op.
Yeah, it's sort of like co-op. It's very difficult, I guess. You get used to it, but it's difficult to control, I guess, on purpose. But yeah, each corner is a different key, and then you have to kind of hold those corners down and provide momentum using the analog stick or mouse or keyboard, and you have to move across the floor, or not the floor, but the room to get toasted. And you're graded on a few different things, including edibility and deliciousness. And you also break things while you happen to be doing that. So the way they put it is like a piece of bread apparently trying to toast itself, and it's a lot of fun. So check it out. It's early access. There are issues with the game, though. I did run into the problem, as I mentioned before, where my gamepad doesn't work with it because it's Windows 8.1 right now. So that doesn't work too well. That's why I was trying to get the keypadder thing to work so I could assign keys to it. But I tried it with keyboard, and it works okay. Although then I got on the floor, and my edibility started dropping really fast. I was like, I need to get to the counter, and except I'm very awkward with that game, and so I started moving in the opposite direction. So yeah, but check it out; it's pretty cool. And then if you're a fan of Yakuza, and definitely there's a lot of rabid fans out there of Yakuza, Yakuza 5 is going to be coming to North America on PlayStation 3. Apparently, they're saying that I guess Yakuza 4 and Yakuza Dead Souls will also be now on PlayStation Network starting this week as well. But that's a big deal for people that have been wanting the Yakuza series to come over to North America. So pretty awesome that that's going to happen.
I bet Deekman, who is an integral part of our orangeloungeradio.com website, I could hear him fangirl screaming when they announced the Yakuza 5. So
absolutely,
there was a lot of fangirl scream moments out of that between either Day of the Tentacle or Suikoden was another big one. Mm-hmm. We announced Suikoden 2 is finally happening, or this. There's a lot of great moments. So, all right, moving on. This probably isn't as scream worthy, but it still is kind of neat. You can get some, I guess, face plates is what they would be for the PlayStation 4. You can get these for $25 a pop. Some the Order 1886 or Little Big Planet face plates. They are available on the Sony store right now, and you can actually pop them onto your existing PlayStation 4. So it's not going to change the way the entire thing looks, but kind of like the front half. You can change how that looks.
Yeah, it looks like the part that's over the disk drive, kind of on top. If you were to set it, what's funny is I actually looked at my PlayStation 4 the other day. I'm like, wow, it's upside down. I have it's on its side, but it's the wrong way. The PlayStation logo is upside down.
I never realized that thing could pop off so easy, but apparently it's designed to do that, so you can get a new faceplate and just pop that right.
Or is
that?
I haven't replaced the hard drive, and is that where the hard drive is? Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. That could be it. So PlayStation 4 faceplates are a thing. That'll be happening. This is neat. Deep Silver is going to be auctioning off the real-life Saints Row Genki Mobile, which there's a little picture of it circulating around the internet, and it's available on eBay. And it was starting at $7,500, even though this vehicle has 80,000 miles on it. I don't know who the hell would drive this out in public.
I'm not entirely sure it's street legal either.
Yeah, so this might just be something you aim at your neighbor's house. Like, I don't know what the practical purpose.
The cool thing, though, is that cannon in the back actually does work. It's a
T-shirt.
It
fires T-shirts, right?
Yes, I would fire tons of T-shirts.
Things like that have been done before.
Well, so here's the thing. It started at $7,500. It's up now to $7,700. So
you got like one or two people interested.
Yeah, you got 3 bids so far. Actually, 3 bids on this so far. I would like to know what the hell somebody's going to do with this. But if you would like to get in on this, it's going to end Saturday at 9 a.m. So you still have a good 5 days. So podcast listeners, if you have $7,000 or $8,000 sitting around, send it to us here at Orange Lounge Radio. We will make better use of it than
buying
a T-shirt cannon.
It worked better when Gorillas did it.
Mounted to a vehicle.
If you're a real big Saints Row fan that you're willing to drop $8,000, if you were willing to drop $8,000 on the Genki Mobile, just save that and you could drop a significant less portion of that on a bunch of the shoes, the clothing, all that shit, the games. and still have several $1,000.
Yeah, you can go to
left
Party
over.
City on an $800 budget and probably decorate your own pickup truck.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can DIY that.
In fact, maybe for like $1,000, OLR will come out and decorate your vehicle.
Nope, I won't come out for $1,000.
All right. As long as you can cover the travel as well. All right. Anyhow, Sony Santa Monica Studio announced some things that they are preparing at the PlayStation keynote the other day, including Fat Princess Adventures, which if you're into Diablo, Gauntlet, that type of stuff, Fat Princess Adventures looks very similar to that sort of thing. Watum was a game that they showed that really made no sense at all, but when you consider that it's coming from Keita Takahashi, that's right, the creator of Katamari and Nobi Nobi Boy, then it makes sense why it did make sense. Which, by the way, was it just me or was he drunk when he was on stage? Because there's this GIF around. I noticed this too when it was happening live. He's like literally stumbling around in a circle while he's on stage trying to watch what's going on. It's very, I hope he's all right.
You know what? Can you imagine?
I hope he was just really nervous.
Can you imagine a Katamari game, though, with the amount of particles that the PlayStation 4 can handle?
I know, right? But he's probably not interested in revisiting it. But
I don't care if he's
Namco
interested.
is.
God damn it, make me another one.
And again, that series really has never been as good as the original. Anyway,
Or make another strange game like Nobi Nobi Boy where you eat your own butt. I mean, so.
I actually was still playing Nobi Nobi Boy on my phone for like years.
Now, did you notice, though, that Watum is kind of one of those names that is the same if you flip it upside down? So I wonder if that's kind of the gist of the game.
What's the word? Palindrome?
Yeah, so because the M, if you flip it upside down, is a W. So if you flip that word kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same thing.
Kind of a double whammy.
Yeah, maybe there's a meaning in there somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, another strange trailer that they showed, What Remains of Edith Finch. There's a bunch of short stories around a cursed family. The trailer was very ambient and kind of horror film-ish. So I like, though, that there's all these kind of like original ideas coming out. We're not just talking like, here's, part 7 of this ongoing series. I mean, there's room in the world for those games,
series
too.
called Final Fantasy.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's room in the world for those games, too, but I like that we're seeing a lot of new concepts as well. So we'll see more about these games at a future date, I'm sure. Some people, I think, playing this stuff at the Expo. I wish we had somebody lined up to call into the show today because the Expo's going on right now. Somebody could have called in, but...
we had some people going.
I only know like one listener out there, and a friend of mine on Twitter's out there, too, but they're probably playing games. They don't want to stop for 20 minutes to talk to us. I understand. I don't take it personally. Very hard. Dark Sakura.
Well, there's one thing that we like. It's SNK. Woo! So they are going to be bringing more games from the Neo Geo catalog to the PlayStation Network. Starting off with Metal Slug 3 for PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. It's also the upgraded version like we saw on Steam with the online multiplayer and leaderboard, whatever. And then they are polling fans to see what we want next. So the 15 candidates, we've seen Twinkle Star Sprite, Neo Turf Master, Sengoku 3, Gyro Mark of the Wolves, Samurai Showdown 5 Special, and Last Blade 2. My vote would be for Last Blade 2 because that game's fun. So good on that. We also have The Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses is on the Master Quest tour in 2015, meaning that they're going to be going on a worldwide tour to play Zelda music. And it's done to celebrate the upcoming release of Majora's Mask on the 3DS. They're going to be, it looks like just a handful of locations on this tour. It's kind of looks like it is really whirlwind. Nothing really near us, but we've got a few Canadian ones. We have a few, also just a few over in Europe, and we have one in Hawaii, one in Tokyo. So, yeah.
Booed and none near us, because I would have wanted to go. Couldn't be bothered to roll through San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, I don't know, Silicon Valley. Just, all right, whatever.
I really don't see any in California. That was what I was looking over.
Fine.
So I guess we have to go to Texas.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Not
on purpose.
I could go visit Travis, give him
Let's
some
just
shit.
go to Toronto.
All right. That'll work. Oh, the Video Game Realness guys are out in
We
Toronto.
could go to Montreal.
That's right. All right.
So, anyway, the last but not least, we have Shovel Knight news. Yay, Shovel Knight. It sold 300,000 copies. Yay. Not bad for kind of a quiet little game there, right? Mm-hmm. But Shovel Knight's fun, and it's one of the Kickstarter games, and its Kickstarter made 4 times what they asked for, which ended up being a total of $311,000. So not bad.
Not bad at all. Did you see the little bit out of the PlayStation Experience where
I haven't touched our PlayStation anything in ages.
No. On the announcements that came out the past couple of days, Shovel Knight's coming to PlayStation was the big thing, and they're doing an extra stage or something because Kratos is a boss in it now. So that'll be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it. Interesting.
Yes, so we'll see how that plays out. Also interesting, every week you guys lend your voices to the show in a segment we call the Fugal Question of the Week.
It's radio controlled.
We go to our Facebook and our Google Plus communities. You throw those words together, you get Boogle. And every week we ask a question of our communities, and we read our favorite answers here on the show. And tonight, our question was all about the Game Awards, because we were curious, did you guys watch it? Did you check it out? So our question was, did you watch them? And if you did, what did you think they did well, and what do you think they could do better? And if you didn't watch, what's something they could do to get you to watch? Fabrice starts us off over on the Facebooks saying, didn't watch. I wasn't very interested in another top 3 show that drags along. It did drag a little bit. I'm not sure how they could super tighten it up, but it did drag a little bit, so I don't blame you. But you can watch the highlights on YouTube, I guess. Andy R. said, didn't watch. I was driving to the PlayStation Experience during that time. Good enough excuse, I suppose. Low Cat Frog responds and says, I don't watch award shows. Even this one I would not have watched. Everything I watched is streamed, no TV. Well, Low Cat Frog may not have got the memo. This actually wasn't on TV. This was something that was only available on streaming, so somehow you missed it. I don't know. Fifth Dream. Okay, now we've got somebody who did watch them, because Fifth Dream says, I did watch them, and I was actually pretty impressed. So many award shows are just embarrassing, but this one wasn't. It had a nice mix of industry people, world premiere footage, and musical performances. It wasn't without hiccups, but they were pretty minor. The Industry Icon Award being presented to Roberta and Ken Williams was a pretty great moment. Overall, I actually enjoyed the show. And Red the Haze says, I watched while I played a game on my Vita. It was definitely a step in the right direction. It did have a lot of awkward moments, but it wasn't as bad as the older Spike VGAs that were targeting non-gaming audiences. I think those comments, last two, really sum it up for me as well, because, I think it was a step in the right direction. I think it's a very good way of putting it. But let's go over to our Google Plus page, because we have some comments there as well. And over on Google Plus, we have Act Deft replies and says, I watched later that night, and the tribute to Ken and Roberta Williams was probably the best thing about the whole thing, and the music segments were spectacular. The whole ceremony has lots of room for improvement, both in presentation and technical stuff, but overall it was enjoyable. I could probably do with less advertising from publishers and more actual recognition to the industry as it deserves. Redtertainment says, I didn't watch them, but I find it hard to watch things on the internet while I'm at work. I've heard general mocking of the Game Awards, but as we all know, gamershateeverything.com. If I could change anything, I would change the fact that I couldn't easily watch it on my TV after the fact. Perhaps being able to download the show on iTunes or watch via streaming like Hulu or Netflix. And then Alicia L. follows that up over on Google Plus saying, yes, put it on Netflix. So some people wanting to have a little more on demand. I believe it is on YouTube, but I know YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube, but YouTube is and isn't accessible depending on where you're at and what device you're carrying. So, but that's how I watched the hour that I missed at the end there and the ultra important Ken and Roberta Williams tribute, which is really the thing you most need to see.
And to be fair, wouldn't that be hashtag gamers hate everything these days?
No, there's actually a website that Bobby registered some time ago called gamershateeverything.com. And you go to it and it says, do gamers hate everything? Yes. There it is.
You go.
That's it. Just like the whole, they do that type of website for everything. There's,
Is Half-Life 3 out yet?
Is Half-Life 3 out yet? Is there a Steam sale? Things like that. So anyway, let's move on with some more news. Loki.
All right. So, definitely there's at least some love from Sony for the Vita. And they're kind of trying to show that with more releases coming to it. And so some big-name games are actually scheduled to be coming that way, including the Banner Saga, which is pretty awesome, Suikoden 1 and 2, Super Time Force Ultra, Towerfall Ascension, Octodad, The Deadliest Catch, Resident Evil Revelations 2, and more. So they're saying also that I guess they've already got ports of Geometry Wars Dimensions and Bastion coming to the Vita as well, but at least they're going to be supporting with more games. And Resident Evil Revelations, that's supposed to be coming out spring of 2015, so not bad.
It was nice to see the Vita getting a little bit of attention.
I wonder how the Vita TV's doing, or that PlayStation TV's doing.
I'm curious as well, because it was very curious. There were some things in that Sony event that they didn't talk about. I mean, granted, the thing kind of started to go on a little long anyway, and for me, overall, the last 30 minutes really lost steam compared to the first hour, 30 minutes. So they needed to end it, but there were some things they didn't really talk about at all, and that Vita TV is one of them. Like, they didn't mention it the whole keynote, and I really thought that was an extra.
Maybe it's just not doing that well. I don't know. Maybe they'd rather you buy the regular Vita.
The other thing that surprised me, PlayStation Now was not talked about at all. That thing that's been in beta for a year or whatever. They didn't really give any updates or any announcements that more.
It's only
games.
Been like a few months.
Has it? It feels like it's been longer. I think it's only been public a few months, but it's been...
No, maybe.
Because they were giving away the codes at E3, and even before that, it was something that some people had. Because before it was on the PS4, I think it was on the PS3. So, yeah, I mean, it's been testing for a while. So I'm surprised there were no updates on that either. But I'm happy to see that, for people that invested in the Vita or will be investing in the Vita TV, and maybe that's why it's time to talk about it, they are showing, here's how we're going to support it. Not a lot of exclusives. I mean, there was a couple in there, but, all right. At least as an alternative in portable gaming. Well, for people that don't own a PlayStation or an Xbox, maybe you finally are checking out Final Fantasy XIII on the PC. Or maybe you checked out Final Fantasy XIII on the PC with the assumption that, it would run better, it would look better. And then we're shocked to find out that, the graphics are locked down. You can play either in full screen 720p, or you can play in a window that is not going to take up the whole size of your desktop. And many people were really pissed off with the limited graphic options in the game. Well, some good news. Square Enix has posted an announcement on their forums over on Steam saying, the Final Fantasy XIII team has been working hard to improve your experience on Steam. We're happy to announce that custom resolutions, 720p, 1080p, and graphic options will be added into the game from December 11th will be the date of that patch.
Except they've already been hacked into the game by other people, but now they're just doing it official.
Now it's just official. And this is very interesting because I can't think of many times in gaming's history where we've talked about now being patched into our game. Graphic options. The graphics are literally being patched in after the fact.
We're now
you don't hear that a lot these
days.
days.
The resolution.
What's that?
So we're now giving the option to change the resolution.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it didn't handle full screen windowed like Final Fantasy XIV does. It's like there's other Square Enix games that'll do it, but it's because it's just an emulator or something. I mean, I think it's a fast and easy port is what they're doing, clearly.
You don't say!
Right.
A fast and easy port of a Final Fantasy game. I don't know, a Final Fantasy game that we might be heading towards the PlayStation 4. You don't say that they do fast and easy ports of their Final Fantasy games? That's shocking to hear.
Dungeon Buster in chat says, Square Enix late to the party with PC standard settings. Quote, sorry, here are the doors for your car. It's kind of what Final Fantasy 13 is missing right now on PC. It's kind of unfortunate. I won't. I won't buy 13.2 or Lightning Returns.
They
until
are
they fix
making
this
literally
shit.
the least amount of effort possible to do this stuff.
Well, you know what though? It did finally bite them in the ass because a lot of people complained about this and a lot of negative Steam reviews. They were really pressured to fix this shit. So
Okay, well, I
I'm
hope
glad
they're
doing
pressured
it.
to make a remake of Final Fantasy VII that's not a port of the old PC version.
I can understand that a little more though because there's a difference there, Loki. Because this 13 we're saying is admittedly it's a PlayStation 3 emulator that Square's kind of running their own internally. Or so, it may not like literally be a Sony PlayStation 3 emulator, but it's able to use the same code. It's a fast and lazy port, right? That's what they're doing over here. But to give you the Final Fantasy VII you want, that's not going to be a fast and lazy port. They're going to have to go back and redo all of the textures in the game. It's different.
Well, I feel so bad for them then. Whatever.
As they're rolling around in their pools of money.
Yeah, I mean,
The Final Fantasy
if
14's
only we had 3D models of the Final Fantasy characters that were in high resolution. Something that might be considered like movie quality. If only we had made a movie with Final Fantasy VII characters in several locations that were featured in Final Fantasy VII. That would be very convenient for us to make a game out of. Or perhaps we use similar models to, I don't know, make some Vita game, or not Vita games, PlayStation portable games.
Or maybe everybody just moves the fuck on and lets Final Fantasy VII go because it was okay to start with, but it wasn't that great.
We don't listen to Dan for a reason.
You know it wasn't that great.
It was that great.
Oh, yeah, you loved Eris. I remember that was like one of your favorite characters ever, right?
I'm going to stab that bitch in the face again.
All right.
In the face.
Jamie, I think you need to let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
That's what I was saying.
It didn't make it the show roll tonight, but they did register. Was it they have the rating or whatever in Europe for the SingStar Frozen?
That did make it into show roll, and that was my story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was helping Jamie out there with a transition, Loki.
Oh,
God
sorry.
damn it.
Read the show roll.
Nah, I don't want to.
All right, well, I don't need to talk about it then. Oh, well.
SingStar Frozen. There we go.
Don't throw a fit. What else? There's got to be more to it than that.
It just has a rating out for it. That's going to be. It says it's going to be published by Sony on the PS3, and that it's going to have all the songs from Frozen in it. And basically, they confirmed that yes, it's going to be out and in PS4 version as well, but they don't have any other information on it. So
It's not out yet, and I already hate it.
Frozen is getting as annoying as Final Fantasy VII. It's just taken 17 less years to do.
But that's okay, though. They're going to make as many sequels as Final Fantasy VII received for Frozen as well. So.
yeah, they already are working on the sequel.
Frozen 2.
Well, and
Refrozen.
It's not just the
She
whole.
won't let it go.
Like, did you hear about like Disneyland? They're finally getting rid of the Mad Tea Party, which good riddance. But they're not bringing it back or they're not doing it to bring back electronica. They're going to do like a Frozen party.
Boo.
And they're turning the Muppet 3D theater into a Frozen sing-along theater.
Boo.
And there's all this like it's like okay.
Oh, you mean the dance thing?
Yeah.
I thought you were
it.
talking about the teacups. I was like,
No.
fuck you.
No, the dance
Okay.
thing. No, and it's just like, enough, Frozen. What about Brave? What about Big Hero 6? What about any other movie you've released?
Have you seen the licensing for Frozen? Yeah, no, they ain't getting rid of that shit anytime soon.
Or why are you making like a Toy Story 4 when you could be making an Incredibles 2? I mean, seriously.
They are making it incredible.
They are making an incredible.
I know, but it's not coming quick enough. Instead, I get another Toy Story, which I don't fucking want to see another Toy Story.
Toy Story's awesome. What the fuck is your problem?
This is what surprises me, though, about this whole thing. SingStar is that, Sony series. Wait, Disney has their own game development thing. Why did they license it over to Sony?
Because they don't want to do it anymore.
They don't want to do their own
I
karaoke.
thought Disney didn't have a game development thing anymore.
They sort of do, but they don't want to deal with it anymore. They want. I can't remember. I'm thinking maybe LucasArts here that they only want to do licensing now, but I
I
don't.
was like, somebody's making
And that's good because.
But I don't think Disney Sing It did really well for them, so they probably don't want to continue on it. That they rather just once again license out the stuff to someone else that wants to do it and just get paid the. So if it bombs, who cares? We got our licensing fee, so whatever.
And Disney does have something because, there's that Star Wars iPhone game that Disney made that's doing very well, and Disney Infinity. But I think there was like one branch of Disney, the studio that made Split Second and so forth. I think that is what you're thinking of. But Disney's real big.
Black Rock Studios, I think.
Yeah,
remember? Yeah.
They brought out like a bunch of developers and closed them and dismantled them and ruined them.
Yeah.
I didn't know Disney was still in the games business.
Oh,
At least I was hoping they weren't.
They're in the Disney Infinity. Business. Yeah.
And then, of course, iPhone and Android is a good fit for the Disney stuff. But yeah, SingStar, though, I don't know if you've checked it out, but now you don't need microphones to play SingStar anymore. I don't know if you know that. It's free on PlayStation 4. I think on PlayStation.
That's just called singing.
Yeah, you don't need a microphone anymore because you download an app to your smartphone, and through the network, the smartphone sends the scoring over to the device. It works out like stupid well. Like I've actually downloaded it and sang some songs because I'd purchased.
And of course, it was ABBA.
Because rant time. You can't import the stuff that you have on disc onto the PlayStation 4 versions. So my SingStar Queen and SingStar ABBA are worthless. But the other stuff that I downloaded, like, I don't know who did it, but I somehow have 3 Britney Spears songs and 2 Spice Girls songs on my SingStar library. So I was able to download those to my PlayStation 4.
That list of suspects is pretty short.
And via my cell phone, it was your wife that made me download Whitney Houston songs, by the way.
Well, don't give in to her demands.
So I can sing into my phone, the greatest love. Yeah, I can sing into my phone.
And he was holding the phone up to his face when he did that.
That's right, because that's how it works. And then it scores me, and I fail and never get trophies, and then rage quit the game.
Well, you can also play Just Dance for free that way, too.
Yeah.
But why would you? Because
why would you?
Yeah,
you can just
to your
sing
point,
and not let
just
your
singing.
phone say
It's
you
like,
fail. Yeah.
It's like, was it on these, cable and satellite networks? They have, hey, we have hundreds of channels that are garbage, but some of them are karaoke, and you can pull up karaoke songs on demand and sing to them for free.
Let's move on with some more news, Loki.
All right. So, PlayStation 20th anniversary. So now it's time to release a slightly different colored PlayStation 4 and charge more for it than we could for any other color. That's right, the 20th anniversary PlayStation 4 in PlayStation Gray, or whatever the hell they're going to call it. They're making 12,300 of these because it's such a random number. And you can buy one for $500. Pre-orders now, and it includes a also gray camera and DualShock 4, but you're paying $500 for a system that's actually $400. So you're an idiot.
Here's the deal. I would actually buy that if when you start it up, it makes the PS1 noise.
That would be pretty awesome.
That'd be fucking amazing.
Well, there's that theme.
Don't me. I will kill you.
On the PlayStation 4, Dan,
food.
If you
Actually, for like the last 2 weeks, it's been like, Dan, computer. Dan, computer.
Dan, PlayStation. And on the PlayStation 4, they have that free theme, the PS1 classic theme, and it does play the classic boot up.
So when you turn it on, it does that. See, that'd be just about
there you go.
worth
You
it.
saved yourself $500.
Yeah, but you can.
I don't have a PlayStation 4.
You can download that to
$100.
You can download that to any PlayStation 4.
So far, I've saved myself $400.
Yeah, but wait a minute, because Jamie's got a new laptop, so you didn't save that much money.
Discount.
Oh, and here's a quick update in case you were interested in purchasing one.
It's sold out.
It's sold
gone.
out.
It's sold out in like 2 seconds.
Mel got one.
2 seconds or 12 hours.
It took that long?
And it has like it has the original logo on it too.
It does.
People were having issues, like their servers were crapping out. Like,
I don't doubt that people are gonna scalp these, but whatever.
I don't remember.
They
should have required your gamer tag or something to at least filter some of these people that scalp.
They should not make them limited.
That's a great idea too.
Just sell as many as people are going to buy.
That's a great idea.
What, are you allergic to money or something?
Especially if you consider that if all the sales stuff we're hearing out of Black Friday is to be believed, Xbox One's outselling PlayStation this holiday right now.
And it should include a copy of Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer!
I'm telling you, they put out a decent Ridge Racer game on PlayStation 4. I'd buy it.
They could have thrown in like Vib Ribbon. Like, I'm trying to think of the PS1 stuff they've actually put on PS4 right now. Oh no, that's Vib Ribbon is supposed to be on PS4, but not yet. I don't know. I guess they don't have PS1 games playable on PlayStation 4.
They
Delicious
have
irony.
Knack.
Delicious irony.
I can play them on my PlayStation 3.
They still don't have that PlayStation 1 technology emulating on the PlayStation 4 yet. Crazy stuff. All right. Well, here's something you'll be able to play on your PlayStation 4, whether it be 20th anniversary or not eventually. It's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Is that Mickey Mouse holding a lightsaber?
It is Mickey Mouse holding a lightsaber in this little picture, but that is not a screenshot.
As the
of
Sorcerer's
Kingdom Hearts.
Apprentice?
I want to say that's probably Disney Infinity, so don't go crazy now.
It probably is, because if you unlock all the characters, or I'm sorry, purchase all the characters, then you get a lightsaber.
Yeah. Anyway,
If you
that's not what this is
spend
about.
all of the money.
This is about Kingdom Hearts 3, and here we go again with some wank going around that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be including Star Wars and Marvel characters. This is because of some statements that was made by the co-director of the game, Tai Yasue, who said, quote, "Yeah, I can't go into specifics, but there's a lot of new Disney stuff, and we have our plates full. There's a lot to consider. We're looking at all of Disney, the new ones as well. They have a lot of pull and draw."
It's like, I can't go into details, but motherfucking Star Wars and Captain America are going to be in this shit.
No. That means fucking Frozen. There's going to be fucking Frozen in Kingdom Hearts 3. That's what it means. Sorry to burst your bubble, people, but Frozen, yet again, will be coming to Kingdom Hearts 3. That's what
I don't
that
really
is.
have a problem with that.
My only
Because I want to see Sora run around in Lederhosen.
So we're going to have like the gummy ship taking on TIE fighters and shit like that? Because
that would actually be excellent.
No, because that's what people want.
Oh, yeah. So is it going to be a lazy port of a PC version that they're going to do for this?
No.
That'll be the Final Fantasy level.
I think Kingdom Hearts 3 will be pretty awesome. But see, he didn't say anything about Marvel and all that stuff. I think that meant Frozen. That's what I take it to mean, is that it's like Frozen and maybe the Pixar stuff. I think the Pixar stuff would be awesome.
Wall-E.
But you're not even the main character. The main character is Sora.
Toy Story or The
That
Incredibles?
was last week.
Just Up. It would be just a world where you cry for 30 minutes through the whole thing. It would be great. So there you go. More wank about
Where
Marvel
your wife
and Star
dies
Wars.
and everyone's depressed.
Don't get me wrong. I would love that if it would come out to the PlayStation 3, but the PlayStation 4 and Kingdom Hearts 3. I just don't really see that happening. That's all. All right, let us go to our next segment, which I believe is the Mailbag. And every week, Dark Sakura opens up the Mailbag and dives in head first and tries not to drown in there with all the emails. But she's going to pick out a few emails that she believes are worthy of reading on air tonight. If you want to send us an email, participate at orangeloungeradio.com is the place to do that. Dark Sakura, what is awaiting us in the mailbag tonight?
The first email comes from Robert M. And it says, Minecraft VOG server. I admit I'm entirely guilty of being inactive on the server, but I hope one factor doesn't enter into the decision to close it. When 1.8 launched, all one got when seeing the VOG server on their list was a big red X and alert that the version of Craft Bucket being used is no longer compatible. Hence, the most recent inactivity. Of course, the cost of updating everything to chase the game's updates isn't worth it for the rest of the population you have been getting. I fully respect the decision. I just wish there had been a survival server. Fun fact. All Minecraft mobs, including villagers, are basically gender neutral, also mushrooms.
I still haven't taken it down yet, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I could just wipe the whole thing and just do a survival server, I guess. But once again, though, it's just, I just don't want to update it. I don't want to update. I don't have time to play it because I'm playing other things, and to me, it's like an MMO, and it's just draining. It's such a small amount of money, but it's still, I just don't want to deal with it, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just feel like I'm wasting my time. I wish there was
inherit the job.
No, it's just I want it to be like I want it to be on like another server. Like, they have, like, for example, I think it's PC Gamer or something like that. Like, they have their entire website has like a server, and there's a ton of people on there because there's a ton of people to go there. And it's a lot easier to, like, you're always going to have people online. Whereas ours, we had, quite a few people on the list to get in, but you'd be lucky to see somebody, playing for a few hours. It just wasn't it was hard to coordinate stuff.
Minecraft's one of those games that I kind of gravitate to when there's not a lot of other big stuff going on right now. So now is just not the time of year for Minecraft because there's so much other games out right now. Minecraft's that thing I'll visit in like March when I'm like, oh, I've kind of finished these other games, and oh, remember Minecraft? That's fun. Do. So that's just me anyway.
Next email. Howdy, peoples. It starts off with a link about Winnie the Pooh being banned from Polish playgrounds. Your discussion from last week about gender identity of Toad and Toadette reminded me of a story that broke recently about a Polish city council discussing Winnie the Pooh. This is the discussion that reflected the city council's fundamental misunderstanding of the characters being discussed, as well as the nature of and definitions of hermaphroditism and homosexuality. I'm wondering if the people who think negatively about gender expression in Mario games don't suffer from the same fundamental misunderstanding. I think that we can all agree that if you are thinking deeply about the sexuality and gender expression of characters in children's programming, that you need to rethink your priorities. Also,
Well, but
Have you even been on the internet?
But talking about Bert and Ernie being gay is okay, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because they're totally. Also, conservatives need to do their fucking research before they talk about shit. Stay black, Redtertainment. This message has been brought to you by Pixel Shits 2, Projectiles of Exercise Impediment. Trainer.
Did he say a little bit to stay black?
Yes.
I actually like that guy's email now, but before I thought it was totally lame.
Did you, that's like people will come on every week and say that ever since you did that on the show, Dan.
My husband, the trendsetter.
Yeah.
Supposed to say it to Ranma.
Yeah, I think some people are way overthinking, so especially like when it comes to the children's books and stuff. It's just, I don't know.
Tinky Winky.
Yeah.
The nice
right?
thing is
Remember that whole thing? Oh my god.
The nice thing is that kids don't have that problem. Parents have that problem.
That's right.
Adults overthink shit.
And parents pass it on
and
to
they
their
don't
kids.
just let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
It just doesn't go away.
I'm coming to Kingdom Hearts 3 with Sora and Goofy.
That was good.
Thank you.
Did you practice that all night?
Email.
Yes, I did.
Oh, good job.
This one's titled A Look Back. Hi, OLR. With the PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U now moving full steam ahead and gaining traction with fully realized next-gen games, I wonder what we'll come to see as the games that will define this hardcore generation of games. Since that still has yet to be determined, I wanted to ask everyone's opinion on what you think a defining game of the last generation was. Obviously, this is subjective, but to me, this term seems to be best served by games that brought something fresh and new to the gaming space and created trends that still ripple through the industry today. I think most would agree the classic example of this would be NES's Super Mario Brothers, that popularized side-scrolling, or PS1's...
But didn't invent it.
Final Fantasy VII, and the lavish production quality standards that most RPGs attempted to replicate in its wake.
But is shallow and lame.
In Dan's opinion. All right.
It is.
Is that the
it
end
wasn't even
No.
the deepest Final Fantasy game when it came out.
Here we go.
That's just the question, and Dan doesn't get to answer.
All right.
Yes, you do.
The defining game of the generation. I feel like we tackled this question on a previous episode and had a real in-depth conversation on it. And I want to say, and Dart Tetsuya knows this show better than I do, it was either the week before the Wii U launched or the week before the PlayStation 4 launched. We did a show. And
Did we do a listless about it?
I
No.
think so. So you might want to go back in the archives because I feel like we had a discussion about like the past generation of games as we were transitioning from one generation to the other. But to humor the question, because it is a good question and opinions can also change. You know, I haven't sampled necessarily as many games from the last generation a year ago as I have now. But I would still say, and this is probably what I would have said on the other show, the defining game of the last generation, absolutely in my opinion, was Wii Sports. Wii Sports is the defining game of the generation. And for a multitude of reasons. Not just because of what it did for the Wii and the fact that the Wii was the number one system in sales the last generation solely on the back of Wii Sports, really. But the fact that it brought motion control into what we see now in games, although it's kind of turned into this rock band, Guitar Hero oversaturation. Now it's only dance games that seem to really use it and so forth.
It led to the Wii condom.
Right. Yeah. And all the breaking of the TVs. But it also got, and this is very important, there's more than just the motion control why I say Wii Sports. It got a lot more people playing games that weren't playing games already, which is, when we talk about the Wiis being in retirement homes and things like that, that's a theme that's carried on into this generation as we talk about now mobile gaming, Candy Crush, Farmville, yada, yada. There's that. And also the simplicity of Wii Sports. This is building on something Loki said earlier. It if you have a basic concept, that's really all you need to have a really awesome game. And Wii Sports really feels like something that could have been done by an indie developer. It really does. So I think for all those reasons, Wii Sports was the defining game of last generation. But that's my opinion. Loki, I don't know if you have an opinion. Grand Theft Auto 4.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is awesome.
Was it the defining game of the last generation?
Last generation? I'd say the last generation, the defining game would have been Grand Theft Auto 5.
But that didn't. That was just Grand
It
Theft
was
Auto.
awesome.
It is awesome, but
it
it's
is
just Grand
defining
Theft Auto
because
with
it's so
better
awesome.
graphics.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is pretty good. I don't know. As far as like games that really kind of did something different, yeah, I guess Wii Sports would be pretty good. Because it was, the whole Wii in general was pretty good just because it was completely different at the time of everything that had been out there. Okay, you play with controllers. Now we're going to do motion controls, and it kind of worked as opposed to like, the iToy or something like that. That didn't really work too well. So I think it was neat. Too bad people at retirement homes don't buy games, and people that bought the system unfortunately don't buy a lot of games either, and so that's where they lost the support. It was an underpowered system that they didn't want to embrace HD in a time where HD was becoming popular.
If only they'd put a supermarket sweep game on the Wii.
If only they had a system that was as powerful as the Xbox 360 that had motion controls at that time. But now that we have the Wii U, and that's that. But now our systems are even more powerful, and they're stuck in the same fucking situation again.
Dan, I'm sure this is a thought that keeps you up late at night. What would you say is the defining game of the last generation?
$5. Jamie was going to say Mass Effect.
I was going to say Mass Effect 3 for one thing. No, I actually have a reason, not just because of the game, it's because of the shit that went on around the game.
Oh, okay.
About having the fans speak up and voice their disappointment to such a degree that the company would bend over backwards and make DLC that would fix those problems in their point of view. And then throw out the total, oh, by the way, here, fandom, here's a cookie for the Citadel DLC. I think that it was the first situation where they really, really took to heart what people were saying.
Dan, to be fair, I think she makes a damn good point.
Oh, no, I just knew that she would say Mass Effect.
But I think her rationale makes sense because...
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't saying it's not rational. Mine is kind of similar.
If the internet had existed when Final Fantasy VII came out, they would have had to change the ending there, too.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, anyway.
Square would have been like, fuck the internet. Moving on.
They still do
What,
say
you guys
that.
want Final Fantasy VII again? No, we don't want money. I would say, strangely enough, I'd say Call of Duty 4. The first Modern Warfare. What you think? Oh, it's just another FPS. It just had better graphics, which is true, but it essentially redefined every FPS that came after and made FPSs the dominant genre for the rest of the generation and carrying over into this generation. It's almost ridiculous.
Well, have you guys seen, they've just put this out for Dragon Age Inquisition, the cinematic tools, which had come based on the Call of Duty cinematic tools, where people are actually doing whole machinima movies using Call of Duty and its engine, all the later ones, because of the scope of the levels and all of the hidden things and just how well developed they are.
Ragenator in chat over at live.vognetwork.com says the Wii didn't need a supermarket sweep game. The Wii needed a Matlock versus Golden Girls fighting game with fatalities.
Matlock would have kicked ass in
Matlock
that.
would have kicked ass.
I don't know. Sophia's pretty mean.
Robert M. in chat says, what was one of the first popular indie titles? Minecraft. And you could make a case that Minecraft was a defining game of last generation.
So what you're essentially saying is that you're looking for like a TV Land, Injustice, Gods Among Us type of game where TV Land, Gods Among Us.
They move around in the car 54, where are you car, and listen to the monkeys play the
Mr.
background.
Ed.
Dibs on the maid from the Jeffersons.
Florence
Florence was awesome. She epitomized sassy black
Archie
lady.
Bunker, yo.
No. So there's more of the email.
Wait, real quick. Robert M says, I'd say to answer my own persistent question, probably Braid and or Cave Story. ActF says Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
So the rest of the email?
Yes.
With that said, my pick is Demon's Souls for PS3. The fact that you can lose all your progress by dying twice in a row and not reaching your bloodstain was a revelation to me and made every single encounter in the game an intense fight for survival. Also, the obscure take on multiplayer and PvP was something I'd never seen before. This game may not have been the peak of the series, but it was a solid foundation that created the framework for each game to follow: Dark Souls 2, and the upcoming Bloodborne. It's a game I'll always look back fondly on, and one I compare most action-adventure RPGs to now. Your turn, go. We already went. Haha.
We cheated.
So for those of us, by the way, who remember life before checkpoints and save states and all that, remember when dying in any game 3 times in a row meant you lost all your progress?
Yeah. Right? Like Battletoads?
Any game.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm starting from the beginning.
Ghouls and Ghosts? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. The source of many, many profane statements.
GoldenEye 007.
P.S. I've been listening to you guys for over 9 years and have loved every minute. Keep
Wow.
up the good work and happy holidays. And that comes from Tonic Vision.
Wow.
Thank you, Tonic Vision.
That's amazing. 9 years. Oh, my gosh. Damn.
I haven't even been wanting to do the show that long.
Damn,
Wait.
somebody's been listening to the show for 9 years. Can you believe it?
Morons. I mean, hi.
I'm going to set you on fire.
Burning.
Alan Android in our chat says Gary's Mod or Journey.
Like Journey Escape? That was on 2600.
No.
No.
Journey, the adventure game on PlayStation 3. Yeah. I think that game came a little late to really define the generation. I think we have yet to see what that's going to really inspire moving forward.
I think Journey just threw it all for a loop.
I think in a way. So anyway.
I do agree with Gary's Mod.
Good email. Even if I did say, I think we had this discussion before. We probably didn't have Dan there. So now Dan's
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not. All right.
It's last email. Retribution. Greetings, OLR. It's your friendly neighborhood turtle, Serious Turtle. I'll start out by saying that I firmly believe in voting with my wallet. And in the spirit of that belief, I almost never buy PC games day one, mostly because of the recent acceptance of publishers releasing broken games that they plan to patch later. Now, why would I want to play through half a game with lots of bugs before it gets patched? I want my experience to be as enjoyable as it can be, and don't get me started on early access, aka paid beta test. Let's take Far Cry 4 as an example. I planned on buying that game immediately upon release, but a week before, Ubisoft released Bonked Assassin's Creed for the to the populace, and now I don't want to support them at full price. I have no problem waiting 3 to 6 months for all the patches in a Steam sale. So my question, if enough PC gamers waited on the games to be patched and bought them on sale later on, would some game companies reconsider building games for the PC platform? I want to send a message, but I also don't want the developers to negatively retaliate to said message. I just want a working game. I look forward to your thoughts. As always, your little loyal turtle in Philly, Serious Turtle.
I agree with the concept of being able to vote with your wallet and kind of rejecting a lot of these broken games. I mean, I literally just reported 5 stories ago on a game that was released on PC that's broken, and they're having to patch in graphics. And that's not okay. And I think we do have to sometimes resist that gut reaction to buy things until we know that they're working, because clearly that expectation is no longer there. The games have to actually be working in order to be sold. Maybe Nintendo was on to something way back in the 80s when they used to have that seal of quality. Remember that, the Nintendo seal of quality? Not that it necessarily made the games good to carry the Nintendo seal of quality, but at least they weren't super fucking broken. Maybe a little broken, but not super fucking broken. Do we need some type of seal of quality standard back in the industry? Do we need a Steam quality badge or a GOG badge? I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
This is not a new problem. Mm-hmm. Okay, even before the easy patches and the broadband internet and all that, in the 90s, in the 80s, you can go out and buy a game from your PC and you can go through the install process and it was going to be broken. it was much, much more unusual on consoles because consoles were managed not just by the publisher, but they were managed by, like, to get a game to go through Nintendo, you had to submit it to Nintendo and they'd send it back, and they submit it to Nintendo again and they'd send it back and submit it to Nintendo again before they finally
had to submit to Nintendo on your knees.
You can only do 3 games a year.
And then they would do it, and Sony was the same way on the PlayStation, and Microsoft's the same way on the Xbox. Nobody does that on the PC. Now you've got a question of games being so big budget and patches being so easy to put out there that, Assassin's Creed is kind of the watershed of the issue, because it's a huge title at this point in time. It was hugely anticipated.
Huge fan base.
A huge fan base. There were tons and tons of people who had already kind of been up in arms about it because the developers were all, we can't put female models in it, so just deal. And everyone was already pissed. And then they booted the launch, which at least shows us that they were fucking serious about not being able to put their female models in, because they could barely put their male models in. But yeah, it just ended up being, and I think that it's going to be finally kind of the breaking point where hopefully, like you were saying, vote with your wallet. Tell Ubisoft to eat a dick. Don't give them your next game at full price. Let them figure it out. And if they lose the revenue, they'll get more serious.
And I have no problem.
I agree. Don't buy games and until you're satisfied that they're going to be good. And when they lose their revenue, then they'll be like, oh, maybe we should be a little more conservative with that release date.
And I'm definitely understanding of like glitches that are kind of not necessarily something that you'd normally run into, but like when the whole face is missing off of somebody, and it's like, come on, you should have seen that testing.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, and Assassin's Creed has a lot of very devoted, very hardcore fans. There's a lot of people who are going to give that series money by default. It's like the people who went and saw Star Wars Episode 1 because it was Star Wars and you have to go see it. And then Jar Jar Binks comes on screen and your childhood is being ruined right in front of your eyes. Why, Lucas? Why? It's Assassin's Creed was the episode. Assassin's Creed Unity is the episode 1 of the series in some ways.
You know what the coolest thing about episode 1 was?
The pod race.
No. The lightsaber battle that happened in the parking lot waiting for the movie.
The fact that Greg Proops is one of the commentators during the pod race is the coolest part of it.
I love Greg Proops.
But yeah, no, I do think that this is going to hopefully make a fundamental change.
Yeah.
Especially, at least to Ubisoft, at exactly what...
Well, and it's
releasing an unfinished game.
Who are they going to pick on? Last year it was EA over the whole Mass Effect.
Yeah. Look at EA though. I mean, perfect example of how someone that's or a company that's sort of learned from their mistakes. With Battlefield 4 and that mess that was their online. And now they've kind of taken things a little bit different. They gave Dragon Age Inquisition more time, and that turned out great. And now they're giving Battlefield Hardline more time, and we'll see.
Right.
I mean, that should be good.
It seems like EA is making the adjustments. EA's problem, though, almost more than just like we're releasing a ridiculously broken program,
being inherently
is
evil?
literally always their DRM.
Yeah. I think we need a listless here at some point for 2015 because, like we said, EA usually has EA was fucking up a couple years ago. Ubisoft's been fucking up this year. I think we need to do the 2015 prediction, big video game company fuck up that we predict for 2015.
Activision.
Yeah, but not just necessarily the company, but what will the fuck up be?
No, I'm with him. Activision.
Yeah, well, that's a very logical conclusion.
It's sort of a verb and a noun. What's going to be fucked up in 2015? Activision. How are they going to do it? Activision. Booyah.
I would like to get into a little more of like the how. How is it going to fuck up?
Call of Duty.
What?
They're going to do something with Call of Duty. I don't know. Because I liked Advanced Warfare somewhat. I mean, it's just I think that it's starting to trend downwards. I mean, Ghost, no one really liked. Advanced Warfare is a little bit better, I think, than Ghost. But next year,
I'm gonna put it out there. I think we'll do the list list officially at some point. We don't have time for it tonight, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Sony is gonna make the big fuck up next because I think Activision is too easy. I think it'll be Sony's coming off a couple really really good years. They've had some really good years, and I think it's time for a really good fuck up. And you've seen Sony did the Sony Pictures division, even though it's separate from. The game side, that's going through a pretty big fuck up right now.
EA's fourth quarter, we're due for I think was it Titanfall 2 maybe?
Yeah.
maybe we'll see that.
You know, Sony really only fucked up once. It was a big fuck up with the PlayStation 3. Kind of that whole generation if they just deleted it. But like the PlayStation 1 was a giant hit. The PlayStation 2 was the giantest of hits. PlayStation 3 was even successful if you gave it, 10 years?
You're forgetting about another. Sony had more than one fuck up. They've had plenty more than one because you're forgetting about the Sony hack that happened on PlayStation.
Well, that's part of the PlayStation 3.
Fuck up.
That's part of the PlayStation 3.
PSP
like
Go.
the whole PlayStation 3.
The PSP Go was a fuck up.
PSP Go was a fuck up. But I'm just saying, but PSP Go was a small fuck up.
There are some people
because it was, portable.
There are some people that still stand for the PSP Go. Like I do have a couple friends that are like, the PSP Go is not that bad. It was just ahead of its time.
It was really easy to steal games for.
The Xperia Play.
Anyway, all right.
Well, that was no.
Oh my God, Rageinator actually has a pretty good idea. Like sometimes Rageinator's jokes aren't funny, but this one actually kind of is. Rageinator says OLR should hold its own annual award show and make one category the biggest fuck up of the year.
I love it.
The fuck up awards.
Winner.
But then again,
No. One category. You don't have to have like the whole thing based on.
No, you need to have a whole thing based on it.
Here's the problem. I think we got to walk a fine line because I don't want to be that show that's just the gamers hate everything, the jaded I hate everything, cynical gamer stuff. Like I kind of think if that's your angle, then you shouldn't be doing a show on games in the first place. I'm sorry if that's going to be a shots fired comment for some of you, but if you carry your back on the fact that you're a cynical gamer, then get a new fucking hobby.
Why are you looking at me, Rob?
I'm not. I'm just looking in that direction.
I'm not cynical. Jaded. Fair.
At the end of the day, no matter what negative thing we say here on OLR, we talk about fuck-ups and all that stuff. I love video games. We all love video games here at OLR, even on their worst days. So my thing is that if we're going to do an award show based around fuck-ups or whatever, I still want the overall message to be, we do love video games, though, but goddamn, stop fucking up.
Should be like the Orange Lounge Radio listless, but have the whole thing, all the categories be done in that manner, and then have everybody vote on them.
Maybe. We'll have to think that one through a little more. We'll talk to our people.
Did I miss the joke that listless is like listless? Is that intentional?
Yeah, it's totally
intentional. Because that's awesome.
Listless carries over. It's the one segment that has persisted since my college radio show.
How have I never heard that term mentioned before today?
I don't know.
God damn.
That was actually, this is how old that segment is.
I need to quit sniffing glue.
Dan, you ready for this? This is how old that segment is. My ex-girlfriend named it.
Damn.
Right. On that note, I think we're all done with emails, right, Jamie?
Oh, yeah, we're done.
We're just...
I don't care if we're done. We're fucking done.
We are so done.
I can't even.
So let's... Then, clearly, if we are unable to even anymore...
I so cannot.
The even awards, because some days we just can't even. All right. It's time for the FUs of the week.
F you to randomly spraining or pulling my hip, whatever the crap I did to it, because I was a little sore earlier. Now I'm in a lot of pain. So F you to that. Feel better.
Loki?
I guess. I don't know. F you to my cat, maybe? Because she woke me up again early this morning. I hate her because just because of that. She's fine, and then she's also messing with the tree, trying to bat at it.
I thought you said Canada.
No, I don't hate Canada. Canada's not knocking on my door early in the morning.
Just don't live in the right neighborhood.
I guess not. Yeah. So I don't know. That's all I've got. I'm not really mad.
Let's see. My FU of the week. Actually, things are pretty. FU to yard work. Yard work sucks, and there's a reason I don't do it very often. And but we finally decided, there's a lot of leaves on the lawn. We should probably do something about that. So we did something about that the other day. And so FU to the fact that after I, made my back sore, my legs sore during yard work, that today, lawn's covered in leaves again.
That's why you have to wait until all the leaves are on the ground, or until it floods and your neighbors are like, hey, you should probably rake those leaves up because it keeps blocking the gutters and the street flooded.
Yeah.
And so that was my week.
Yeah, right. So, or you just need to mow. I just told Alan, I said, can't we just mow them over with a lawnmower? Can't we just get the lawnmower and do that?
Nope. I know that logic. I've tried it. It doesn't work. It just makes the leaves smaller and harder to pick up. So it's not.
Yeah, but once they're all mulched and chopped up,
exactly.
Who's going to expect you to pick them up?
Exactly. Leave them there. It's going to make your lawn even better because they're going to, they're just going to rot away into a soil. No, they fucking stay there for a whole goddamn year and get covered with more leaves. It doesn't work. I've tried it. I have a mulching mower. I went over them several
that's the problem.
times.
You need to not have a mulching mower.
All right.
You need the mower that just picks the shit up.
Dan, do you have an FU of the week?
No. Everything is good. I have nothing that I'm upset about.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
You need to say F you to my hip.
F you to Jamie's hip.
All right.
Jamie is flipping me the bird. F you to Jamie's bird.
I love this. Some people,
But you love the cat.
Some people in the chat room trying to help us flesh out ideas for the OLR award show that we could do. Act Deft suggesting the Fuck Up of a Lifetime Achievement Award. That is a great
I don't know
idea.
if it has to be lifetime because there's always going to be bigger fuck ups. So it's
because
just
I'm thinking for like a fuck up icon like type of award, like Jack Thompson should be the first inductee. Like Fuck Up of a Lifetime.
engage.
The Engage would be a great nominee.
Or maybe not necessarily engage, but side talking. That should be kind of a fuck up.
No, you were right. The Engage.
Yeah, the Engage is a good fuck up of a lifetime.
The Engage was a misunderstood, not a good system, but a misunderstood system. Now, the Gamecom, that was a fuck up of a lifetime.
I like where this is going. You guys are smart in your chat room over at live.vognetwork.com.
And you don't hear that very often.
No, I love our listeners. You stop.
Oh, well, you can love them all you want.
All right. Moving on. Loki, let's get some more news, and then we'll take your calls pretty soon here at 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, all one word.
Okay, so there was this issue with Nintendo and Philips over, I guess, this patent for virtual body control device. And apparently they've resolved their dispute by signing a licensing agreement with Philips. And I guess per the agreement, Nintendo and Philips will cross-license portions of each company's patent portfolio.
This is a really old story, right?
No, this is
It's about the CDI and like Mario Brothers.
No, stop. No. Yeah, I can see the whole reason they came down the agreement is like, really, you're going to sue us? Look what you did to Mario and Zelda on the Philips CDI.
But
We're
in
done.
good news, Philips will be making the Nintendo Wii U CD-ROM next year.
Anyways, so I guess, this was from back in 2011. They had a notice because of this patent, the virtual body control device, and then there was another one, user interface system based on pointing device. I love these very, very generic patents. That's fantastic. And apparently that second one was used for the Wii U, and DS consoles and other motion sensing tech and cameras. But I don't know. Yeah, so really, they should be paying Nintendo for what the fuck they did to Zelda.
So Philips is so far gone at this point, they're patent trolling. That's sad. They deserve it for what they did to Zelda, though.
All right. Well, you know what? Speaking of money being thrown around aimlessly, this is crazy. So I think last week we probably talked about this. Those little amiibo. This is, Nintendo's new niche they're trying to get into are these little amiibo. And there was a misprint or a pressing of some of the amiibo for Samus. And there was a Samus floating around out there that had 2 arm cannons, which if you know Samus, she does not have 2 arm cannons. She has 1.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it looks awesome because that looks like Samus.
It's awesome until she falls on the ground and she's like,
It tips over because the guns are too heavy and the
But
Amiibo won't
Samus
stand
doesn't
up.
have that problem. She'll just turn into a ball, dude.
yeah, good point. Yeah, then
But the dual gun Samus looks amazing because that's what she should look like in the movie trailer, like as she's walking out with the fire, like the 2 guns
Incidentally,
inside.
Metroid Prime 4.
Yes, right. But anyway, so somebody bought one of these Samus with the 2 gun figures at Best Buy and sold it on eBay $2,500 to buy a Samus Amiibo.
Now, that's not exactly accurate. He did include a regular Samus Amiibo with it.
Oh.
So really, if you look at it, they're only $1,250 a piece, and that right there is only what $1,000 premium on each.
It was
bought at $1,200.
Bought at Best Buy for $13, and the seller was asked on Reddit if he'd considered keeping the Samus amiibo or donating it to a museum or donating it to Nintendo. You know, Nintendo.
He's like, "Fuck no, I want money."
Yeah, he said the thought had not crossed my mind. However, if approached by Nintendo, I probably would have. I was considering hanging on to it to sell at a later date if the value increased. However, with the high level of interest shown at the time when I posted it, I thought I'd go ahead and sell it now in case the value went down or a whole tub of them was discovered at a later date.
I'm saying, meanwhile, Nintendo's got a warehouse full of these that they're pissed off at the manufacturer for, and they're just like, wait a minute, these things are worth $2,000 a piece?
Yeah. Hate this guy all you want. He's fucking smart. I'm sorry. That's the most American thing I've heard of, what he just did.
The only thing that would have been more American is he was eating one of those KFC bowls at the time.
Well, that's awesome. The thing is, it's not like he bought something that was unusual and he bought them up and then has trotted them out on eBay. He found something that was a one-off, and someone said it's probably, I want it. Someone's probably worth something, and he threw it out there to see what he could get. It wasn't like he threw it up there for like a $2,500 buy it now. I mean, more power to him. It's not like he's playing a slimy game.
He probably figures at the very least he's going to make his money back of what he purchased it for.
Right.
I get
probably
this.
Then some.
I get this more than the ET cartridges. At least the Samus doll wasn't thrown away and dug out of a landfill.
But it was thrown away by Atari.
I'm sure Atari's thrown a lot away. Do you want like a stick of gum that Nolan Bushnell once chewed? Is that a value?
Yes.
Actually, then again, one of the coolest Christmas presents I ever got.
Stick of gum.
No, a friend of mine got me index cards that were actually used on the 1970s match game that had questions on it.
There you
that
go.
Were discarded. So, and actually, that's one of the
Richard
coolest.
Dawson might have touched those.
Right? And so that's why I'm like, okay, actually, this is one of the coolest presents I've ever gotten in my life. So, anyway. Charles Nelson Riley might have spit on it.
Maybe. It might have had, like,
yeah.
skin cells
He might have sassed
from
the
Betty
question on
White.
that card. Anyway. Okay, so there we go. That is it for the news tonight, which means we are ready to go to the Skype line. We're ready for your calls. So now's your chance. Time zones that don't usually get to participate. 1-877-GAME-OLR or username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. If you'd like to talk about anything we've talked about tonight, PlayStation experience, the Game Awards, Steam broadcasting, anything. It's been a very busy week. I will turn to Loki real quick and see if there's any last-minute stories while we wait for those calls to come in.
Nope.
No, they are not.
No, they're not. Well, luckily we have a call coming in, so at least we can get to that. And we will take this call now. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Do you see me?
I do. Is that Ravens Dolphin?
It is Ravens Dolphin.
What is up? Oh, Amiibos. Hey, wait, that Samus only has one gun. It's less cool.
I know.
It's only worth $1,250.
I got so much stuff in here, man. I mean, I went crazy, like bipolar crazy.
I heard a rumor, and this is still rumor status, but that you held up that Villager amiibo. You might want to keep that in the packaging. The rumor I'm hearing, Villager, Marth, and Wii Fit Trainer already discontinued.
Oh, I have all of them.
Not how many of those things have you bought, sir?
All of them. I bought all of them for that reason.
You
I
bought
want a Villager.
every single amiibo.
You are not getting
Oh,
any of
yeah.
that crap.
Yeah, man. Let me go get them. Yeah, I got the Marth one, you're saying? I got them all, man. Pikachu, Marth.
I want to see.
So you know,
what's in that
Donkey
closet to
Kong?
the left?
Nintendo is proud of you. You've completely bought into the marketing and bought them all.
That's right.
Yes, consumerism always wins.
How does it
for
feel
me.
to be a consumer whore for Nintendo?
And
I am
how?
a consumer whore.
And how?
I admit it, but yes, I've been keeping a few in the box. But yeah, to that day, just like that guy, you said it, Dan. You said nothing wrong with that. And then when the day comes, cash in.
That's right. Like I said, it's not like you bought them all on the shelf and you're trying to sell something that some 5-year-old wants.
That's true. Just saying, it will happen because someone
Oh,
will
there we
go
go.
out there and say, maybe Rob will go like, I want Wii Fit Trainer. Guess who has it?
Actually, I do kind of want Wii Fit Trainer, but I wish they'd had. I mean, I prefer male Wii Fit Trainer because of some of my.
It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna wear a skin tight outfit, I prefer.
I want to see
the male
like
form.
someone make a mod of those, like fat fit trainer. It'd be hilarious.
Why not? All right. So I don't think you just called in tonight to talk about your various collection of amiibo. Right,
God, no. This is. I wanted to talk about the VGAs some more, if I could. Not
Sure.
the VGAs, but the Game Award.
Sure.
Did you check out who won Trending Gamer?
Was that
Total
was the one, the
Biscuit.
Total Biscuit one, right?
That is so weird because guess who else was on there?
Who else?
PewDiePie.
Yeah, and he's super famous, huh? Ravens Dolphin. Can I be honest with you and the listenership for a minute?
Yeah, please.
This is gonna really surprise some of you guys. You ready? I didn't know who any of those people were. I didn't know who any of them were, and I do have a familiarity with PewDiePie because I see his articles on Yahoo about how he's the biggest YouTube celebrity out there. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, I'm so hipster. I don't. But I watched maybe 2 minutes of one of his videos, and I was like, all right, I've seen this a million times on Twitch and various channels, and I would just rather watch my friends than these guys.
Total Biscuit. I mean, he seems to be interesting, but that's about it.
I don't know any of those guys, and I don't know a thing about them.
Well,
Sorry.
I was ready for, oh, geez, this guy got 30 million people. It's going to PewDiePie. It's going to him. It's going to him. And they said Total Biscuit. I went like, this thing's saved. Thank God. I went like, I don't know the 30 million people, but they seem like I said, I'd rather have a chat room full of 100 smart people than have 30 million blah people.
Yeah.
PewDiePie's videos are annoying. I can't understand why people are so into.
Wasn't his big thing? He got big because he did the scary games and would scream really loud.
He got big because of the scare cam. The scare cam was his invention.
I can't. I mean, maybe I haven't watched enough of a sample of the material, but man, it's you try to watch his videos and it's just like, oh, it's 30 million people want to watch video games played by the world's most annoying person. This is totally sweet.
The viral phenomenon is very strange because it's very interesting who goes viral and who doesn't. I mean, look at us. We've been doing this fucking thing for 12 years, and we're not a big show by any means. There's still a lot of people out there that listen to a lot of podcasts. I have no idea. There's been a gaming podcast for 12 years, but I'm okay with that because, like you hit the nail on the head. We're fortunate here at OLR that the people we do bring in are all pretty cool. And the people that have bad attitudes tend to leave pretty quickly. And I'm totally okay with that. Like you hit the nail on the head. The 100 cool people outweighs 30 billion trolls. You know what I mean?
Dozens and dozens of hardcore fans.
That's right.
Like I said, I watch you guys, and you guys are pretty genuine people. Like, everyone's been chasing that dollar, and don't get me wrong, I chase the dollar too. Mm-hmm. But my first thing when I consider tech and games is, the first goal is to not make the dollar first, but to make the community happy.
Yes. And you know what? And I'm not slamming on these guys. I mean, congrats to them. They did something right. They caught that viral wave. I'm happy for them. I am. I'm not familiar with their work because the great thing about the internet is that anybody can do this. So I prefer to just kind of, there's plenty of content out there with friends and other indie people that I know that do stuff. It keeps me busy.
One other thing, me, Hitstun, and everyone else, we're on InstaGib TV. No relation, but we do our thing on there, and people are liking it.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry.
That's just a plug, right?
For both of us, yeah. Like I said, we do our direct capture thing, and we
Cut
do
him
the
off.
LP thing, but we're not. I'm not concerned about like, oh man, one day I'll be 30 million because those 30 million will be hanging on every word you're saying.
That's true. And yeah, if PewDiePie says the wrong thing, there's going to be like a hate campaign on Twitter and all that stuff. And I'm kind of glad on one hand that we don't have to deal with a lot of that yet. I mean, I fear the day when one out of context thing I said in 12 years of broadcasting goes fucking viral. I mean, that is a fear we have to kind of live in a little bit. But
yeah, we're not that far above the radar for that to happen.
Hashtag I hate Rob.
Maybe. Who knows? Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Martin is in our chat saying, you're right, Rob. You are the trending gamer. Aw, shucks. And Fabrice says, Sky is the mother of all social gamer celebrities. The drag mother, perhaps. Yes.
And how?
You bet a stream. All right. Ravensdolphin, anything else? Any other plugs? You want to put in
One
there?
last thing I want to say thanks for doing an early stream. Your stuff, when I do my stuff, it's around your stuff. So I'm never around to be a witness to a live broadcast. And I want to say thank you for doing, I know this is for the international listeners, but I like that you're taking chances and saying, all right, 3 o'clock, people, because I was listening to your last show, playing Halo, doing my thing. We're like, I'm going to join. I'm going to join. And I'm glad that you did it. Thank you for making me a part of it.
It was for anybody who could be here. In all honesty, it was really so that we could go to dinner somewhere else tonight. But usually the early hour doesn't work for us. So I'm happy it worked to get some other people in because we do want to be the show where every gamer has a voice. So
yeah, I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you and have a nice night. And Jamie, congrats on the MacBook. I am too poor for a MacBook.
Someday.
Trust me, we'll talk. It took me a bit of doing.
All right.
So is she.
Take care, my friend.
Take care.
Bye. 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, but the Skype line's lighting up with more calls, so let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hi, it's Fabrice.
Fabrice. Oh, this is one of our listeners in Belgium, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
What is up? Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that we get different people on tonight. I love the people that we hear from every week, don't get me wrong, but I love that we mix it up a little bit tonight. Well, how are you, my friend?
Well, I'm fine. Thanks for doing the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, nothing really. I'd really like to call to say thank you for doing this show for so long. So I've been through a rough time last couple of months, so you kind of helped me get through it.
Wow. I'm blown away by that. You're welcome first. And I'm that's always the compliments that carry the most weight, to hear people say that, like, I was having a shitty day and you took my mind off of it for 3 hours. And I'm just like, that's such a huge compliment. Like, you don't even know, because I know I have those shitty days. I know how it makes me feel when somebody can kind of take me out of that mood. So thank you so much. That is such a huge compliment. And thank you for telling us that, because it just motivates us to go another 12 years. Right, Dan? We're going to go for 12 more?
I guess.
All right.
I ain't got nothing to do. I'll show up once every 6 months or so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I like to tell that I miss the Sega that used to live, a long time ago. I really miss their arcade games.
We do too.
Anybody with taste does, sir. miss the Sega games. Well, at least there was that Sega Humble Bundle. I mean, is that kind of stuff open to the international crowd? Were you able to pick up that Sega Humble Bundle?
Yeah, but I already own most of those games.
Well, yeah, that happens too. That's like when they're giving away Mirror's Edge for free, and you're like, oh, but I already own Mirror's Edge. Oh, well. Or Injustice is the PlayStation Plus Game of the Month. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, well. That happens.
Well, yeah, when they finally release the game again, I buy it day one, because they only release, a couple of games a year anymore, so yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Sega's only going to put out a few things a year. Well, actually, I was hearing not so good things about the latest Sonic game on the Wii U. I'm hearing it's Sonic 06 bad, and that's not good. That's really not good to hear.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I didn't even bother buying it.
Yeah.
I just want to see more like Outruns and Space Harriers and stuff like that, and it's gone. That
Well, they
generation's
have that
over.
one game that's supposed to come into the Wii U that was a Kickstarter, that 90s racing game or whatever. I forget what they call that.
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't really that was some personalities from Sega.
Not another 90s
No,
racer.
it
That's
wasn't
what
even.
they should call
It wasn't even that. It was just a game done in the style of like Daytona
Yeah, I remember
USA
that.
and
I remember, yeah.
Sega Rally.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever came out.
It's not out yet, but
Probably
it looks
still being
good.
developed.
No, it's been postponed for like a year and a half now.
Of course, that's what happens to games. Of course, that's what happens.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of trouble with the AI of the other 40 cars on track.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, really, how hard can it be? You've made like 1,000 games like this,
Well, no, this was an indie guy that was doing it. It was someone that was making it in Unity or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's the thing.
And did you say it was going to be 40 players?
The thing that bugs me most about Sega right now is what's going on with Phantasy Star, because they refuse to release that shit in the US. Like, Japan just got Phantasy Star Nova on the Vita, and I really want to play that, and it's like a Vita game, right? And they're, nope, not coming out in the US. Nope. Unless there's a surprise announcement at E3 or something. It's very frustrating. But at least we're getting Yakuza 5, I guess.
And you got to wonder why Sony's not on that. Why Sony's not just like, hey, Sega.
Yeah, right?
Let's make it worth your while. Because in Japan, Phantasy Star is what's keeping that shit running.
Yeah,
that's the reason there is a Vita.
Let's get your nose out of Nintendo's butt and put it in ours.
Exactly. See, I'm upset because Phantasy Star hasn't been Phantasy Star since, like, the days of the Genesis. Yeah. You know, I would love to have a Phantasy Star game that's an RPG and not like its weird little quasi MMO.
But MMOs today owe a lot to Phantasy Star Online. Like, Phantasy Star Online defined we're talking about game generation defining games.
Oh, sure.
Phantasy Star Online is a generation defining game of its day.
Sure.
No.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it's the first kind of online adventure. Yeah, it was a big thing. But I would love to see a Phantasy Star game.
Dungeon Buster in your camp over at our live chat room, live.vognetwork.com. I'd really like to see another Phantasy Star in the same vein as Phantasy Stars 1 through 4. It'll probably never happen, but I can always hope.
I would love to see real localizations of Generation 1 and Generation 2, which were on PS2. I played a fan translation of Generation 1. It was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Fabrice, anything else you want to share with us tonight before we let you go?
Yeah, well, Shenmue 3.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah. It'll probably never happen, but
No.
Well, never say never, because whoever thought that we would finally get Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 4, and here we are. We did it. We did it, everybody.
Shenmue 3 is more important than Final Fantasy VII.
I actually agree with you there. This is honestly, coming out of the PlayStation Expo, this is the first time this has ever happened, and some people have been waiting decades for this. People walked out of the PlayStation Expo more excited for Suikoden than they were for Final Fantasy. Do you know how long some people have been waiting for this day?
Oh, what, for Suikoden?
People were more excited about Suikoden news than Final Fantasy news.
Right, they're doing a new Suikoden?
No, they're re-releasing an old one, and it's still more exciting than Final Fantasy VII.
Did Konami get...
Fabrice, I got to let you go so we can get some more callers. But thank you so much for calling in and the nice words. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you guys.
Take care, my friend.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye. That's so awesome that we have people international in a country that I'll never be able to afford to fly to.
Who likes Sega.
Who loves Sega. Has such good taste.
He chose a good day to call.
That is a good day to call. I'm glad we could do the earlier show to make it work. 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Let me quickly go to the Twitter sphere and see if, because I thought I saw some tweets coming in earlier before the show. But, I am such a great radio host that I didn't bring up the Twitter in advance. But I'm doing it now because live radio is
production.
A joy. Mm-hmm. And everybody on the house is on the internet. Kidman Project tweeted us and said, "Bloody typical, I'm missing the convergence of our time streams. So here's a big cheers for always making my Mondays less shit." So he's over in the UK, but it sounds like couldn't make it today anyway. So that's too bad. Let's see. Yeah, there's some thoughts from Twitter. So let's go to another call. Hello, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hi, this is Raginator.
Hey, Raginator, buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
No, we're doing really good. What's on your mind?
Well, I was going to touch on something that you were mentioning earlier in the news segment.
Go for it.
You were mentioning how Steam just the other day he introduced the Steam broadcasting feature on their service.
Yeah, they're like answering to Twitch in a way that's built into the service, yeah?
Yes. Well, to go into a little detail, to really participate in terms of broadcasting yourself, you have to be opt into their beta program, which you do that by going to your options on Steam and
yes, It's a good reminder to check because I thought I was already opted in, and apparently I wasn't. So when I couldn't see broadcasting in there, I was like, what the hell? I thought I was in the beta stuff, but I wasn't. So, yeah, check that out.
Yeah. The trouble is the update that they released, I think it was on Thursday night or Friday night, I think which, probably Thursday night. But anyway, the update had a major flaw. It borked, completely and utterly borked this one file. I think it's called steamui.dll. For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to the point where if you were to like close Steam for whatever reason, and that file was borked for you, you would not be able to relaunch Steam.
How do you know that this happened to you? Because I of course am getting all the updates, so now you have me a little worried that I'm gonna have to reinstall everything. Like, do you get an error message that makes it very clear that this happens to you?
Yeah. If you were to close, like, let's say for sake of conversation, you were to close Steam right now and then try to launch it again, you'll see like a little dialog box that says fatal error, and that then it'll list steamui.dll as being the issue.
So you can't just have you can't just have it scan your computer and find all the games again. You actually have to go in and re-download everything, which that's a lot. Oh my gosh, that's so much.
Yeah. Well, some people are saying that you can rescan, assuming that you got the games on like a separate hard drive. Now, if the problem is with me, A, I didn't know that. And B, I get my games between two drives, an internal hard drive and an external hard drive. And at least with the stuff that's on the same hard drive as the Steam application itself, when I went to uninstall Steam, it deleted the games that were on the same hard drive, so I have to reinstall those anyway. So,
well, Ragenator, I think what you have to do, now this might be a challenge, but only install those games you're actually playing, and that should cut it down to like 100 megs. Only install the games you're actually playing.
100 gigs.
Yeah, well, the trouble with me is, sure, there's certain games that I consider my go-to games, like, me, I go on and on and on about the Magic the Gathering games.
Of course.
Given.
That's all right. It's like me and WoW. Or Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but at the same time, I have a lot of games that I haven't touched yet. And I've been always the type to, I'm probably going to get around to it. And a lot of times when I'm not playing the Magic the Gathering games or, the Geometry Wars, what I end up choosing instead is usually just totally seemingly random. 1 second I could feel like playing Sam and Max, the next second.
All right, so because you have what I lovingly refer to, because I have this too, as gamer ADD. You need all your games there at a moment's notice because you might have to switch from one to another in 5 minutes. I understand.
Exactly.
All right, so lesson learned. Wait another week. Maybe don't opt into these betas because you might lose everything. Who knows? Or back things up, or just be careful. Be careful. All right.
Exactly.
I'm going to let you go to try and squeeze in one more call, but take care, my friend.
Sure.
Yep.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye. Good luck with all the restoration. At least, especially if you're capped on your bandwidth, I don't know how you're going to manage in that situation. That's just going to suck. But at least he didn't lose the digital rights, because I seem to remember that guy had a problem a few years ago on his PlayStation 3 or something where he tried to download all this video and then it disappeared and he couldn't re-download them. I just remember that was a huge issue.
I think you can just re-download the DLL.
Yeah,
Steam UI. You don't have to re-download all your games.
I don't know, but I would think Ragenator probably poked around on the Steam forums and,
Well, who knows?
Hopefully. Who knows? That's usually what I do. The first thing I do is I Google it, and I narrow down the search to the last 24 hours or today to try to see if other people are posting and bitching about the problems. All right, we are going to take one more call. So we got one more call coming in here, and then we'll wrap up. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
This is Eric RPG.
Hey, Eric RPG, how you doing?
Fine.
Good to hear from
Well,
you.
I could be better because I'm undergoing a cold, I think.
Oh, no. I've somehow have avoided the sick thing, knock on wood. Somehow I've avoided that. Well, what's on your mind today, my friend?
I just want to talk about one game in particular I played this week that I should warn everybody not to play.
Uh-oh. What's that?
This is a game called Haunted House Cryptic Graves, which is actually a remake of the original Atari Haunted House game.
Oh, we've reported on that this was a thing on the show before, because I remember, I don't know if you're old enough to remember the 2600 version, but I remember the 2600 version, and, it was, for its day, it was awesome, but...
It was brilliant.
It's not exactly the game that I go, gosh, they should remake that.
Yeah, but when you're like 5 years old,
when you're 5,
that game is like awesome.
It was awesome. But so it doesn't hold up well, huh, Eric?
Yeah, basically what they did is they made it a first-person adventure type of game, but they also made it kind of like Amnesia, but they failed miserably in every conceivable way.
Oh, no.
The controls are sluggish and awkward, and there's lots of graphical glitches. Like, I was running away from an invisible enemy, and apparently the only way to see them is to use this, like, supernatural vision that this character has. But, I was jumping up around trying to get away from them, and I ended up on top of them for some reason.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately the house has trouble rendering.
Not only that, but, the staircase that you took to get down to that place... you can go down it just fine, but you have to actually jump up the stairs because they didn't design it in such a way that you could just walk back up it, and it's awkward as heck to get back up there.
You can go down the stairs, but you can't go up. What kind of house is this? Is this like the Winchester Mystery House? What is this?
Anyways,
like a Roach Motel.
There's really terrible voice acting, and for some reason, the voice acting of the old man character is somehow worse audio quality than the main characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like people probably recorded it like over Skype, which is fine for doing a show like this, but not for voice acting you're going to actually put in a video game. Wayne and One in our chat room says, I just saw a video of Haunted House today on YouTube. Looked pretty bad. Dungeon Buster says the original is awesome, just a pair of eyes bumping into walls and the scary lightning.
Never mind the game's using Unreal Engine 4, but it's
version.
Totally not taking advantage of it, and it looks terrible, and it's so unoptimized that even my PC can't run it very well.
Oh,
I mean, my PC isn't the greatest, and I'm still using a dual core, but it should be running somewhat competently.
Should be better than it is. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm going to give this game a 1 out of 10 on GameTactics.com.
Are you? Oh, I was like, are you doing?
I'm not even going to bother finishing it because it's that bad.
It's so bad. Don't check it out. But now everyone's going to check it out because they want to see how bad it is.
Because now it's like, okay.
So what you've done is unwittingly lead people into the trap. You're
like,
part of the problem. You're not the solution.
Is it Showgirls bad? Because that's kind of good when it's that bad.
No, it's not so bad. It's good.
Oh, okay. That's
just bad.
It's just bad. All right.
Oh, yeah? Well, you don't know shit.
You are a whore, darling. All right. Well, we got to go. We're going to go eat some brown rice and vegetables.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Take care, my friend.
I'm ordering a hamburger.
All right.
Rob's going to have dog chow.
I don't think Eric got the joke, the Showgirls joke, but yes. Hi, Alan's here. Hi, Alan.
Hi.
What's up?
Do you want candy?
Yes, candy. Yay. Ooh, he brought me the really yummy. Oh, in theme with tonight's show, we were talking about Australia earlier. This is Australian black licorice.
Dude, sweet.
I love black licorice.
We can eat it in the car with Jamie.
I'm going
to be so nauseous.
I know some people can't stand black licorice, but I love it. So, Dan, it must be a Dutch thing.
Maybe.
I can't stand black licorice, so when I get that, I'm being super nice because it's candy that I can't have.
I've bought Dan some before, and then I left the house.
I've bought him mayonnaise, and you all know how I feel about mayonnaise.
I love mayonnaise.
Ugh.
Alan, let's have a mayonnaise party.
You can have a mayonnaise and black licorice sandwich.
The worst thing in the world is a tuna, because canned tuna is also I can't stand. So when he makes those fucking tuna fish sandwiches, that's what? Canned tuna and mayonnaise?
And it's like licking up, oozing up the side with all the mayonnaise.
God, I got to shit.
Just too much mayonnaise.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for the Skype line tonight. Thanks to everybody who called in. Appreciate it. If you didn't get through or you'd like to participate with the show, maybe you forgot that the show was early tonight, so you're listening at the 6 o'clock hour, you can always tweet us at twitter.com/OLR, or you can always email us, participate@orangeloungeradio.com. But we are going to go around and start to wrap up the show because I don't believe Loki had any last-minute stories, nor does Jamie. or Dan. So that's it. Thank you guys very much for being here. Those of you guys that tuned in live at the earlier hour, appreciate it. Those of you guys that forgot, that are kicking yourselves, that are listening on the repeat, sorry, but we'll be back at our regular time next week. And those of you listening on the podcast feed, you're all still awesome. And I would love to hear from those of you guys. We had an emailer this week that said he'd been listening for like 9 years. I'd love to hear from more of you, especially those of you that have been listening for years and years.
Yeah,
and
well,
never
I've been
seen
listening for 12 years.
I've been dealing with this crap
I've been
for 12
ignoring
years.
for 12 years. No, I'm kidding.
That's what I want for Chris McQuanzica. I want emails from listeners that have never emailed us before that have been listening for a long time or even a short time. That's what I want. You want to give me a really easy Chris McQuanzica gift? Give me that. Why is Alan wagging his finger?
12 unique emails.
Yeah, right.
The only caveat to that is that if you've been listening to the show for like 9, 10, 11 years, don't say, I started the 6th grade and now I'm at a bar. Yeah. So don't do that. Just
No, that's awesome. You should totally do that because if you're listening to this, if you're listening to this show in the 6th grade, you got problems.
Yeah, no.
And we've contributed to those problems.
Grade, look at your life. Look at your choices.
Don't tell me that you were in elementary school and you started listening and now you have your own kids. That I don't need to hear.
Come on. One of our listeners was in high school when he started, and now he's my coworker.
I can't. All right. Anyhow, Dan, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. You're always a fun time to have on the show.
I didn't have anything better to do.
Yeah, well, I understand. Do you have a final thought for our listeners tonight?
No, I do not.
All right, sounds good.
You could just take that cabinet because he's just not going to use it.
No, you can't take
Sweet.
the cabinet. I want to use it.
Oh, he just said I could take it, so it's happening.
No, you take it back. All right. Let's see. Loki, your final thought tonight.
Speaking of cabinets that aren't being used, I have to dust off my arcade cabinet at home. We're gonna turn that.
Easy, is it?
We're turning that room into a playroom, so it's still gonna stay there because thank God I don't have to move it out because I barely made it. My hallway the way it is, I have to make like 2 sharp 90-degree turns to get the arcade cabinet in there, and there literally was like maybe a quarter of an inch clearance.
Is it the same one that was in your guys' apartment?
No.
Okay,
oh God,
that thing was a brute.
No. We moved that thing upstairs, or we moved to an upstairs apartment. I'm like, that's getting dismantled. That's not coming with us. I am not lifting that upstairs. That weighs a ton. No, I have a Sega Astro City that I have.
Okay, you have a candy.
Yeah, so I have that, and it's all nice and redone, but I don't use it ever. So I have Street Fighter 4 on it though. With my nice, octagonal restrictor plates and shit, that still doesn't make me any better at the game, but it's nice.
All right. My final thought tonight is I want to thank Dan for running and getting tacos during the show. There's no better way to say I'm a good friend than to buy somebody a taco.
Add a hungry wife.
All right. And speaking of hungry wife, last but not least, Dark Soccer, your final thought tonight.
I fucking love my new computer. It's so fucking pretty.
Hey, by the way, the local Toys R Us has those ColecoVision flashback consoles.
It sucks. Don't get it.
I got the Intellivision.
The controllers are not good at all. The Intellivision one is sweet.
Yeah, I got the Intellivision one. I haven't got the ColecoVision
I was thinking
one.
of it as more a gift for my dad because he had a ColecoVision that he gave me a long time ago. So I was like, his birthday was
The
just
controllers
Friday.
are almost unusable.
All right. And it seems like you guys liked really...
He did it on the mics.
It's what? Oh yeah, Dan.
Yeah, we've got a mic
Dan's-
discussion.
Sorry, I
going
didn't realize
on,
Dan was
so-
talking and not into a mic. Sorry, guys. That's definitely the time to.
Sorry, we're
end
having
the
a
show.
side conversation
Yeah,
about.
clearly, and I'm trying to wrap up the show.
I'm looking at my
We
pretty
can talk about
wallpaper.
ColecoVision Flashback for like 45 more minutes.
No. We got to
You
wrap
sure?
up. I do want to say, Wayne in chat says, thanks, guys, for doing this early show. Great to be able to tune in live for the first time since 2006. You know, it seems like a lot of you guys like the earlier show, so it's something we'll have to consider. I mean, we can't do it all the time, and certainly the folks that are used to 6 o'clock that can't be here at this time don't want us to do it all the time. But we will definitely consider doing more of these in the future as we can work it out in our schedule. It'll be random OLR times.
Man, this is so much easier to do with a laptop than on my old iPad.
You know, we have to do a show some week at like 4 in the morning, so that way our friends in Japan can tune in and listen.
Nope.
Okay.
All right. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Orange Lounge Radio. We'll be back next week, normal time, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern at vognetwork.com, but 24/7 on the podcast feed. Have a great week, everybody. Happy gaming.
Stay black.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into vognetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or VOG Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.